Yeah, we are live right now, and Biafrans will soon be coming in. Yeah. They'll soon be coming in. Let's give them a bit of time. Yeah, they are coming in. They are coming in. Yeah. Please, as they're coming in, share the program. Tell them we are live again. We are back. We are live and direct. Share the program. Sorry, we're a bit late, and we had a bit of a technical problem there. Yeah, welcome, Obi, welcome. Thank you so much. You can share the program today. Share it. Tell them to come and watch us through Facebook page or YouTube page. It's going to be a very exciting and explosive one today. We have great people in the house. Share the program, and I think we'll start immediately. People are coming in. Yeah. Ezemo, you will lead us in prayer, then before we do the formal introduction.
I think I can give to Brother Sydney Davies to lead us in prayer, because we are together now in spirit and the physical also. We have to be practicing it also.
Thank you so much. We are back. Thank you. Share the program. Let them know that we are back again. Yeah. So we are going to give our special guest and our brother, Mazi Sydney.
Let
me correct myself. To lead us in prayer.
Well, I don't pray in the traditional Igbo way. You know, I will give the prayer. But you know, I belong to Temple Israel, which is a synagogue here in Boston. Today is Sabbath, Shabbat.
Yeah.
So I greet you all with Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And I will pray within my tradition, within my Jewish tradition.
That's no problem.
And so I will begin. Blessed art thou, O Lord God, King of the universe, who has blessed us for this day on this Shabbat, and who has commanded us concerning it, that we should rest and keep it holy. We thank you for this day. We thank you for this fellowship. We thank you for this time that we can come together as a people and to address the concerns of your people. We pray that your spirit may be with us. We pray that the spirit of holiness and of fellowship and of goodness and of oneship may be with us as we proceed to talk about those areas of our concern that bring us together on this day. We ask a blessing upon everyone that is here. We ask that your spirit may be among us to guide us in our discussion, to lead us in our thoughts, and that we may do that which is according to your will, within your name, honor, and glory. We ask this in the name of our Lord and our Savior, Yeshua HaMashiach, Yahweh Elohim.
You say.
Amen.
You're welcome back. You're welcome. Dear friends, you're welcome. I welcome you to today's program. Today is going to be a special day. I told you that strange things will be happening in this program. A lot of things will be happening, things you are not expecting. Today we have in our midst a special guest, and he will introduce himself when the time comes. But I want to tell you how the program is going to go. The program is going to go this way. You already know Nwokedi. Now today is a special day. Our Ezemo decided to show her face today. A lot of people have been asking, show your face. We want to see your face. Why is the camera off? She's here, Dr. Nelly. You are here live and direct. But probably they don't know you are the one. This is Dr. Nelly. If you have not seen her, she is here right now. Her camera is on. Please go and tell people that have been looking for Dr. Nelly that she's live and direct. Tell them that she's here. They want to see her face. It's a special day. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, our brothers. You are welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Let's look at how it's going to go today. Today, we have a special guest in our midst. He is going to tell us why he's here today, and I will give Nwokedi 15 to 20 minutes to talk, and also Dr. Nelly to talk, after which I'll open up the lines. And when you're going to call, you call. I'll give you 3 minutes to call. Please, when you are calling, try not to use abusive words or insolent words here. We don't use that. If you try to be rude, I will cut you off. Please.
Before we continue, I want to say something.
I know that before we go and I introduce my guest, Dr. Nelly has an announcement to make. So before we move into the program proper, Dr. Nelly, you're welcome. They said you are so pretty. Yeah.
Thank you, Biafra. Thank you. The assignment, I'm going to skip it for tomorrow. I'm coming tomorrow to make a special announcement. But there's something very important I need to let us know. This platform is a holy platform. Anybody coming in here to cause confusion, the spirit of the land, the spirit of Biafra will strike them with epilepsy. They will start to suffer, have epileptic seizures. They'll have the seizure when they're waking up, and they'll have the seizure when they go to bed at night. Please, this is a holy platform, and there shall be no disruption, because what we're about to say today is very important. This is for the generations of Biafrans to come. And I say unto you this day, there's no disruption. Please. And this epilepsy shall become a generational affliction. You shall suffer this epilepsy, and your children shall suffer this epilepsy, and your children's children shall suffer this epilepsy. Today is not the day, please. And then tomorrow I make my announcement. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Ezewine, thank you. Ezewine, thank you so much. Yes. Mazi Sydney, you're welcome to the program once again. I would like you to introduce yourself to our viewers, and after then, you will tell us your story. But first of all, introduce yourself to our viewers. They need to know you.
Well, I want to thank you for this opportunity to be on this platform. I thank you for the invitation. I want to thank traditional Nwokedi Dada Noa Budonka of the Budonka Kingdom. I want to thank you.
That was good.
I had not been involved in anything having to do with Africa, Biafra, or anything of that nature since I left Igbo land in 2019. I have not involved myself in any affairs having to do with Africa at all. And so when I was contacted by my brother with respect to what was afoot with the atonement, I was very pleased to hear that something of this sort was taking place, that this consciousness had finally dawned upon our people, which was something that I had been probably aware of or trying to effect myself since I had come to Nigeria for the very first time. I came to Nigeria for the very first time in May of 2012, and when I had just graduated from Hebrew College. I had just graduated from Hebrew College, and I was on Facebook when I ran into and met Ezewine Catherine Ashilono of late, and it was because of her and another dear brother, teacher Akume Kalu Njoku. He and Ezewine Catherine Achilano, they were the ones who invited me to come to Igbo land in May of 2012, and I was invited to participate in an event in which Cardinal Francis, the Igbo Cardinal at the Vatican, he was the keynote speaker. I was invited to be at that forum where he was the keynote speaker in Owerri in 2012. So that's when I first came to Igbo land. When I first came to Nigeria in May of 2012, everything that I saw in the news had to do with the General Onjoku, who had the president of Biafra, who was just buried. So everything I saw in the newspaper and everything I saw in the news was about Biafra and about the honor that was being given to the president of Biafra, General Onjoku. And I hadn't known that much about Biafra. The only thing I knew about Biafra was what I had heard when I was a teenager back in the late 60s, early 70s. And the only thing that I knew about Biafra up to that point was they were in a war and they had suffered greatly in that war. And the memories I have about that war, when I looked at what was on television and what was in the newspaper, was the condition of the people in Biafra and the starving children and so on. So that was all that I knew about Biafra until May of 2012. And when I saw what was happening with all the news about Biafra and about General Onjoku and so on, I decided, well, I need to orient myself. I need to reorient myself about what's going on here. So I read everything that I possibly could read about General Onjoku. I read possibly everything that I could learn about Biafra. I must have bought about 4 or 5 books about the Biafran War. I just immersed myself about everything in Biafra. That's the only thing I did for about the first 2 weeks when I first arrived in Nigeria, was to orient myself about what was going on with this Biafra. When I came to Nigeria for the first time, I didn't identify with being an Igbo. I didn't identify with being an Igbo in the traditional sense. I came to Nigeria to do research on the Igbo. It was about the Igbo that led me and that brought me to Nigeria. And it was what Catherine Ashalona was talking about, writing about, and teaching about the Igbo that really intrigued me about Biafra and about the Igbo. And so, believe it or not, when I came to Nigeria, I identified as a Fula. Fulani. I was a Fulani. I did my DNA before I came to Africa. I did my DNA. I did my DNA in 2006 to find out my African origins. You know, I've heard it said many times that, we African Americans have an identity issue, and I think that that's accurate. We do have an identity issue of some sort, some way. And so we're always looking for our identity, trying to find out where we come from, what our sources are. We know we're Africans, but we don't know where in Africa we come from, most of us.
Yeah.
But when I did my DNA, and they sent back my DNA, and they told me, your DNA tells us that you are Scandinavian. And I wrote back to them and I said, you made a mistake, because I'm not Scandinavian. I'm an African American. If you look at me, you can see that I'm black. I am not Scandinavian. And they wrote back to me and they said, we're sorry, Mr. Davis, but this is foolproof. You are a Scandinavian. So there was no black people in my DNA. That is in my my paternal DNA. My paternal DNA showed that I was a European, that I was the son of my slave master. I was what they call Davis's nigger. I belonged to Mr. Davis. I came off of his plantation, and all of his slaves were named Davis, and I was one of them. Matter of fact, my ancestors were slave. My ancestors were literally house Negroes. We were in the house. We were not in the field. So I was very upset about this. I was very upset to understand this about myself, that I was the son of my slave master. And I was very distraught. I was a man who was very Afrocentric. I was always into blackness. I was always into my Africanness. I was always into Africa. I was always talking about Black power. I was always talking about the need to get back to our roots. And here I am. I don't have any African roots in my father's DNA. And I was very disappointed. I couldn't even hold my head up. I couldn't walk around. I couldn't talk no more. So I did my mother's side. I did my maternal DNA, and that is where I found Africa. I found Africa in my mother's DNA. And so when I found Africa in my mother's DNA, it's funny because, there's a saying about being an American. I want to let you all know that I am an American. And there is a code. There is the motto. One of the mottos of America is "E pluribus unum." You've heard of that. "E pluribus unum" means out of one, many. And I am a literal representation of that motto, out of one, many, because in my DNA, I have all of Africa in it. We're all mixed up over here. We African Americans are all mixed up. We got all kinds of African DNA. Now, the majority portion of my DNA indicates that I'm a Fula. And that my Fula genes come from Niger. And so I had intended to go to Niger, not Nigeria. I intended to go to Niger to find out about my ancestors, my Fula ancestors, but I was diverted. I had to go to Nigeria first. There's a long story to that, because before I came to Nigeria, I went to a Mami Wata to get some counseling advice about how I should conduct myself when I went to Africa and when I would set foot in Nigeria. I went to a Mami Wata to get some instruction and some guidance about how I should conduct myself. And she told me what I had to do. So anyway, I came as a Fula, I said. And I was a guest of Ezewine, Catherine Achulono. And, she used to tease me. She used to tease me because I was in Abuja, and she'd take me around to everywhere. And we would see these Fula in the street with their cattle or whatever. We would see them. We'd see them in the street. And she would tease me, and she would say, there go your people right there. There go your people. And so I said, where are they? Because I wanted to meet them, And you see, when I came to Nigeria to study about the evil, I was a Fula, and I came to study about the evil because what I had learned about the evil was they were the original man. This is what Achulono was teaching, that the evil was the original man. So I'm going to study about the original man. That's what brought me to Nigeria. I wanted to know about the human origins. I wanted to know about the human origins that had their origins in West Africa and in Nigeria in particular, and in Igbo land. She talked about the original Igbo. Now, the original Igbo are not those people that we see in Igbo land today. You people that call yourself Igbo, you're not the original Igbo. You speak the Igbo language, a very ancient language. But the original Igbo, according to what my research shows and what Catherine was teaching me, they were the little people. They call them the forest people. They call them pygmies. The original people, the people of the land, they didn't migrate. They were always there. They called them the people of the soil. They called them the forest people, the little people. So I was coming to find out about these people, the original Igbo, and about the origin of mankind. You know, this was 2012. Remember, 2012 was the year when the Mayan calendar came to an end. Remember? The Mayan calendar was coming to an end, and everybody was going to all these different places around the world to where the origin of man, they believed the origin of man was. So I said, I have to go to that place where man began. I have to make that pilgrimage to the place where man began. And when I left Igbo land in July, when I left Nigeria in July, I came right back in December of that year, because the long count ended on December the 21st, 2012. And I was in Igbo land in El Galeri on that date. So that was but going back now. So when I was in Nigeria, I was in Abuja. Catherine was telling me about the Biafra and about Igbo land, and we decided that we're going to go to the east. We're going to go to Igbo land. We're going to go to see the Eze Ora, the Sun King. Yes, Chukwemeka Eri. Chukwemeka Eri. He's my king. He's my king. So, but remember now, I'm a Fuller. I'm going there as a Fuller. And I'm sitting in the cabinet. You know, he assembled his cabinet, the Ezra and all his chiefs, and there was cameras there, there was news there, and right there in that meeting, I get an email on my phone, and it was from a friend of mine who was doing a special investigation in my DNA. He was doing an autologous search of my DNA. And right in that meeting, I got an email indicating that in my autologous DNA, I had Igbo. And I said, I was astounded. And I said, Catherine, look, my DNA, the guy doing research my DNA said that I have Igbo. And I announced it right in that meeting. And when I announced it in that meeting, the adulation was incredible. I tell you, it was incredible. And the king, the Eze Ora, said, welcome home. They had a ceremony for me. I knelt down before the king. He gave me my name, Elumuno.
Elumuno.
And they did a ceremony for me.
Elumuno.
They did a ceremony for me. They did a ceremony for me that has never been done.
Yeah, let me say something before you continue.
Go ahead.
Biafrans, I need you guys to pay attention to what you just said. This is about spirit of Biafra being in operation. That's what I need you guys to pay attention. Prince Nwokedi came to Nigeria then as a Fuller. He was coming as a different person. But then the spirit of the land was dragging him to where he actually belonged. Remember, the DNA already said that he was a Fuller, but still he needed to come to Nigeria because he had a project. The gods wanted him to do something. But while he was in Niger trying to get to know about his Fuller origin, he got a phone call that actually told him that he is a Biafran. He's an Igbo man. And then he was already there, even though he was thinking he was a Fuller, he still went to his roots by whatever forces that drew him, that put him in the right place. So I just need us to pay attention to that. Yeah. Okay, please continue.
That his name is Nwokedi.
I have come home.
I have come home.
Yeah, the Eze Ora gave me that name. And then they did a special ceremony, a ritual that had never been done in Igbo land. It was the first time that this ritual had ever been done in Igbo land. And it was the first time that someone had come home, I guess, from America to his roots, as it were. And so what he did was he took the soil of Igbo land, and he washed my hands and he washed my feet. And then he took the sacred water of Omombala, the river, and he got that water from the river, and he washed my hands and he washed my feet, and he anointed my head with this water, the sacred water of Omombala, and the sacred land, the soil of Igbo land, Biafra, Igbo land, El Guleri. Because there's something about the land, about the land of the Ezeora, the land of El Guleri. That's a sacred land. I was taught that was a sacred land. And he told me that anyone who was a slave, anyone who was a slave, when they ran away and when they set foot in that place, that the moment they set foot in that place, they were no longer a slave. And I had set foot in that place. And so the stigma of whatever I had about my past with regard to slavery was totally done away. And now I'm truly a free man, because now I have come from my ancestors who were taken from Igbo land and taken to the Americas. I have returned from them, come back, set my foot on free land, on free soil, and having set my foot on that free soil, I had removed from myself and from my ancestors that stigma, and I received the cleansing that came from the washing of my hands and my feet with the soil and the water of Igbo land, of Omombala. Now, all this was recorded. Every single thing that was done on that day is recorded. I don't know if it was featured on some program or what, but I have the original recording, and it was called Going Forward, and it describes the ritual. It actually shows what happened when I was being named, when I was kneeling before the throne, before Igbo land, before the Ezeora, and the actual ritual that I went through when I was ritually cleansed, as it were, with the sacred water of Omombala and the sacred land, the soil of Larry. So I understood the idea of what it meant to, the idea of having this thing addressed about the stigma of slavery and being cleansed from the stigma of slavery. So from that point, I started bringing Africans, Americans. I started bringing African Americans to El Guleri to have the same experience that I had, to have that same experience of being cleansed. And so what has happened since that time, I don't know if this was something that was always happening, but every year during the festival, there's a festival that takes place in November in Igbo land, where the Ezeora goes down to the sacred waters of Omombala, and he makes oblations to the gods of Igbo land, to the gods of the Igbo people, and he does ritual cleansing of those who have come to have that blessing. So this is still something that takes place. Now, I haven't been back there since 2019. I haven't been back to Africa in having to do with anything of those type of affairs since 2019. That's briefly my introduction about how I came into contact with Biafra and my association with Nigeria and my association with Igbo land and Biafra. If you have any questions about my experience, I'll be glad to offer them. But I think I don't want to overtake and be the only person talking here about. I don't want this to be about me.
Thank you so much. It's not really about you. It's interesting, and it's also educating us. A lot of Biafrans are excited to hear this story, because we living in Biafra land, we don't even know much about the land we are living. The thing you said today, I don't know anything about the ritual, the Omombala River. It's amazing that you all came all the way from America to experience this, and you are the one teaching us. Yeah, it's not really about you, but you are a special guest today. Don't mind. We will give you all the time to speak. Yeah, because we don't know when we'll have you again. And you were saying something about the video. I believe, if you don't mind, next time you'll come to the program, if we'll be able to show our people the rituals, so that we don't know it might know what it is to welcome ourselves home and welcome our brothers home, because we are going to be doing more of it. A lot of people are ready to come back home because Biafra is around the corner. Thank you so much.
Can I emphasize something?
Okay.
I'm sorry I move around a lot when I speak.
No problem. Yeah.
This is pertaining what has been said and what has been told to the people of Biafra.
Yeah.
After this atonement is done, I just need us to, even the story that Prince Eluemono just said, I've not heard about, especially his fuller origin, but I think I knew there was something very, very important that we're going to learn today. So basically, his experience is already telling us what Biafra is all about. After Biafra is restored, first of all, after we complete the atonement, after we deal with our sin of bondage, with the slavery, with the Osuka system, with every form of bondage, the spirit of Biafra herself will bring all her children home. There's not going to be any effort. I need you guys to listen to this. Prince Eluemono came to do a research as a Fulani man, because that's what the DNA told him that he was.
Yeah.
Instead of being over there, over the Niger to do his research and to go to meet his people as a Fuller, the spirit of Biafra brought him.
He was supposed to go to Niger Republic.
Yeah, but he came without, circumstances, with Ezewani Echelon. All the circumstances were together to bring him home. This is what is going to happen to every single Biafran. It doesn't matter what they tell you, who they tell you you are. When Biafra is restored, every single Biafran will come home.
It's a spirit thing.
Even if you're as white as paper, if it doesn't matter your looks, as long as you are a Biafran, the spirit of Biafra will bring you home. Just like they brought Prince Eluemono home. So while you're listening, I just need you to pay. It's very, very important. I'm sorry I have to emphasize it.
No. Go ahead.
So if you can't take anything from what you just said, just bear in mind that he was coming as somebody else.
Yes.
Himself as somebody else. But the spirit of Biafra already knew who he was. She knew that this is my son. And he had to find a way to bring him home. And that's when he performed the rituals. So this is going to happen to every single Biafran. And if we don't do what we need to do, we are going to remain in bondage. We are going to continue to suffer because the God of the land wants to bring all their children home.
Of course.
In our hands right now. That's why we need to do everything possible. If not, we will continue to suffer. We will continue to be in bondage. We continue to be chased around everywhere. So we need to do our part. And the gods of our land, Jehovah, the spirit of Biafra and the entire gods in Biafra land will draw all her children home. All of us are coming home. That's in color, our hair type. It doesn't matter what we look in the physical. We are all coming home. That is something that I need us to pay attention while we continue. Thank you, Chinwe.
Thank you so much. And Prince Eluemono, remember when you were talking, say before you embark on this journey, you went to see the Ezewani Mami Water in the air. He advised you. You understand? Yeah, please. A lot of us are not associated with this. They don't understand the meaning of when the way we are brought up with the Christian religion. When we hear things like that, people get scared. They think it's it's a bad thing, it's a demonic thing. So please, how do you get to know about this Ezewani and why and how did you believe that it's going to? She has the ability to advise you on how to go about it, because I believe your seeing Ezewani Miri helped you also to get connected to your ancestors. Immediately you landed the country Nigeria. Please, can you just talk to
I will try my best. You have to understand that in 2010, I had graduated from Hebrew College.
Okay.
I am a Master of Jewish Studies. And when I met Catherine, That's how I met her. I met her as a Jewish scholar. I had no connections with Africa other than what I had been doing on my own as a research on Africa. And the reason one of the reasons why I went to Hebrew college was, I went to affirm my identity as a Black Jew, and I was doing studies to show the African origins of Judaism, and I was showing my connection to Judaism as part of what had been experienced in Africa, starting with the presence of the Jewish people in Ethiopia. Now, in my own personal family, we have a myth, and this was a myth that I had grown up understanding since I was from the womb. This myth was rehearsed in my ears from my grandfather all the way down.
All the way down.
And that myth was that we were descendant of Ethiopians, that we were Jews. So I grew up this way. I grew up with this idea that, we were somehow Jewish, even though I was born a Christian. My great grandfather was a Baptist preacher, but he taught us that our true origins were from Africa and that we were Ethiopians, and our true religion was that of we were Jews. So this is how I grew up. I grew up with this sort of kind of a understanding. And so when I met Catherine and she was talking about these Igbos, I was incredulous. I said to her, what are you talking about? You have no idea what you're talking about, woman. And I would always challenge her about what she was talking about the Igbos being this and the Igbos being that and so on. And I would always challenge her. I met her on Facebook, and I was always challenging her. I was always trying to gainsay her. I was always trying to get up on her. And she was very, very patient with me. She was very patient. But I came to the conclusion after I was, attacking her and questioning her. I said to myself, Sydney, you have to be, if you're going to be intellectually honest with this woman, at least read what she said before attacking. Read what she said. Read what she's talking about. And so I said, okay, let me get her book. Let me read her book, and then I'll deal with her.
Okay.
So I got her book. They Lived Before Adam. And I read the book. And I had my notebook next to me when I was reading her book. And the reason why I had my notebook next to me, I was going to put down all the things that she was saying that was wrong that I found in her book. Because I wanted to make sure I remembered it as I was reading. And so when I was reading her book, I put down all these things that I had a problem with what she was talking about.
Yeah.
So she would talk about something in her book, and I would look and say, aha, I would say, aha, I got her now. And I would go back on Facebook and I would challenge her with this statement that she made. Now I have her statement. I'm not talking about her. I got her statement right here in black and white. And I would challenge her with it. And she would not answer me. And when she didn't answer me, I knew that I had won. I knew I'd gotten over on her. Right? So, but the reason why she didn't answer me was because the answer came on. If I kept reading, I would find the answer. So at the end of the book, I had a notebook full of statements that she had made, and I had crossed out every one because I found that everything that she had said that I had a problem with, the answer was in the book. And so when I found out that I couldn't really overcome her arguments, then I said to myself, you know what? Let me give this thing a chance. Because as a Jew, speaking as a Jew, and all of you speaking as Christians, whatever belief you have, whether it's from the Bible, you see, when I was a kid, and I'm sure all of you all, when you were children, if you're a Christian or if you're Jewish, when you were taught the Bible, you were taught about the creation. You didn't question it.
Yeah.
You didn't question it. You just believed it. when you guys went to Sunday school or catechism or wherever you went, and you were taught about the Bible, or if you went to yeshiva or wherever you were, and you were taught about the Torah, you didn't question it, you just believed it, didn't you? I know I did. I just believed what I read. I accepted it as the truth. Because that was my culture. That's how I was raised within that culture. So I said to myself, let me give myself a chance. Let me give my evil thing a chance. I'm going to read this again. I'm going to read her book again. And this time I'm going to disbelieve it, just like I believe the Bible. I'm just going to read it. And I'm just going to read it like it's the Bible. And I'm just going to let it soak in. And so when I did that, and instead of trying to find reasons to find why it was wrong, instead of trying to find reasons how I could disprove it, I did the opposite. I tried to prove it. I said, let me see if she's right. Let me do my research on this and see if she's got any basis for what she's saying here. And I convinced myself to become a believer. I became a believer. And so I began to understand that the reason why I could not believe before was because I had been, and I call it the zapping of the African mind. The zapping of the African mind. Our minds, I was saying at that time that our minds had been zapped. My mind had been zapped with the Bible. My mind had been zapped with Christianity. My mind had been zapped with Islam or Judaism, or what I call the book religions. Zapped, and I said, I need to get back to my own spirituality. I need to get back to my African spirituality, because we were scared out of it. Our people were scared out of our ancient understanding of our spirituality. And so I made a concerted effort to get into my African spirituality. And so Ezewine Catherine Achilano took me to every shrine in Igbo land. I have worshipped at every shrine in Igbo land. I have worshipped at every river in Igbo land. I have made sacrifice according to the ritual. I have met many Dibia. I met many Dibia. I met Dibia in Nsukka. I met Dibia in Elgeleri. I met Dibia in Nwokedi. I met Dibia in Orlu. I met Dibia in Owerri. I met Dibia in Abia. I met all the Dibias. I went to Onitsha, and went to the sacred river and the Niger. And I went to the place where the rivers meet. That's a sacred place. I worship there. And I have all this, what I'm telling you, is documented. It's all documented. I have pictures, I have film, I have all this thing, document the things that I did. So I was fully immersed in Afa. You know what Afa is, right?
See?
And Ondanala and Omenala. I was deep in it. I was deep in it.
Omenala, yeah.
I was deep in it. And so I would go through Igbo land and I would see the effect that Christianity had on our people. And how I was very angry. I was very angry. I was angry with the Bible. I was angry with Christianity. I was angry with Islam. I was angry with Judaism. And I was taken aback about how much religion had affected our people. Not just us in not just the Africans in America, but the Africans in Nigeria or Africa. And we African Americans, we love us some Jesus. We love Jesus very much. But I have never met a people who love Jesus more than the Igbos. I thought we African Americans loved us some Jesus, but you Igbos out Jesus us big time. You Igbos love Jesus more than any people that I know on the planet. And so I was very taken aback by that, because I would see images of Jesus all through Igbo land. I would see images of Jesus, the white Jesus, and the black devil, and the Nigerians, the Nigerian Christians or the Igbos, they had this thing about how Jesus, we worship Jesus and he's white and the devil's black, and how this has sunk so much into our subconscious that we want to be like Jesus. The Nigerians, the Christians in Nigeria want to be like Jesus so much that they want to bleach their skin like Jesus. And the Nigerians, they corner the market on skin bleaching cream. The highest market for skin bleaching cream is Nigeria. Did you know that? Next to that are the Indians. Next to that are the Chinese, but the Nigerians are number one in using the skin bleaching cream. So I saw that how much the Christianity had affected, or colonization had affected us. So I was on a mission to get our people back to our roots, our Omanala, Oldinala, and our Afa spirituality. And I had even gone farther than Ezewine Catherine. I'd gone past her. Because see, Catherine, and if you ever read her book, she talks about Jesus, she talks about Christianity, but she doesn't talk about it in the sense that a Christian would talk about it. But nevertheless, she always incorporates some aspect of the Bible, or some aspects about Jesus, and she would try to make some sort of a comparison about Jesus and about the Bible with Afa, Oldinala, Omanala. And I said, no. I said, Catherine, I understand that you have some sort of an appreciation for Jesus and the Bible, but I reject it. I will have nothing to do with it. I will have nothing to do with Jesus, the Bible, or anything having to do with colonialism or the things that was used to enslave our people. I blamed the white man. I was angry with the white man. I was angry with the Bible, because the Bible was used to enslave us. I was angry with Christianity because the Christianity was used to enslave us. I was angry with Jesus because he was white and that we were trying to be like Jesus and we were trying to be white. I was very, very angry. And the source of the impetus of all that I was doing was from a position of anger. Now, you have to understand that this is where I was in 2019. You have to understand that I'm not there today. Where I was in 2019 and all the things that I'm talking about you today was about where I was then. That's not where I am today. That's why I haven't been involved in anything having to do with Africa, or anything having to do with Biafra, or anything to do with the Igbos since 2019. I've actually been off the scene. I've been under the radar until my brother contacted me about a week or two ago about what was going on with this atonement thing. So this is the first time now that I've been involved with anything having to do with Africa, having to do with Igbo, having to do with Biafra. This thing right here that we're doing right today is the first time since 2019 that I've had anything to do with what we're talking about here. I learned about this idea of atonement from my brother, Charlie Lion Agumezi. That's why I learned about this thing about atonement. Even though I had known about this thing about atonement for some time, back in 2014, I had started a Facebook page called the African American and Arrow Reconciliation. I made a Facebook page talking about the African American and Arrow reconciliation, because my mission was to try to bring some type of reconciliation between those of us who were descendant of Igbo, those of us who had come to this land, America, from Africa. And I felt that there was a great need that we need to reconnect with our brothers and sisters in Africa, that those who were descendant from Igbos in America need to reconnect to our people in Igbo land. And so I needed to I needed to try to effect this reconciliation with the Arrow, because I had learned that the Arrow were one of the principal agents in the slave trade.
Yeah.
And so what I did in 2017, 2015, 2016, I went to Arochukwu, and I met with the Eze Aro and his cabinet.
Eze Arochukwu.
Yes. Yes.
Eze Arochukwu, the king of Arochukwu. He went to Arochukwu.
I went there. And I met with the Thai cabinet, and I told them that there needed to be a reconciliation between those of us who were taken from Arochukwu through the Long Juju and the people in Aro and Abia and Arochukwu. And I made my case to the cabinet, to the chief and his entire cabinet. I told them about what we were doing, what we had suffered, what had happened, and how we want to come back. And that there had to be a reconciliation, and that there had to be an acknowledgement of what they did. Do you know that when I gave that presentation, they cried? Not all of them. Some of them were actually crying. I mean, tears were coming down. But the Eze Aro and his chiefs, the big chiefs, they would not admit any culpability of what they did. But they said to me, "We accept you as one who will speak on behalf of the African Americans when you come to Arochukwu. We will accept you, and we will not accept anyone else who will try to come here to try to blame us for what we did. But we will accept you because we understand and we recognize your spirit." Now, I have never been back to Arochukwu since then, but I have many good friends, treasured friends in Arochukwu and who are Aro. In fact, when I went back to Abia State, I went to Uturu, to Gregory University. I believe Gregory Ibe, he's the founder of Gregory University in Uturu. And I had gone there to make my case about the Igbo and the Igbo landing project. And he wanted to honor me for what I was doing and for my efforts. And so what he did, he had his father, he brought me to his father, who was the king of Uturu. And they made me a chief. So I was very honored by that, by what he did. And I told him that I would try to conduct myself in such a way as to not bring disgrace upon him, upon his kingdom, or upon the Igbo. And I'd always try to act in a way that would bring honor and not dishonor or disrespect. So I had an audience with my people in Arochukwu, and I hope that one day I could return there again to visit my friends. I consider them my friends. Now, the Arochukwu, every year in the United States, there is a Igbo festival that is held in Virginia, and it's called the Council of Igbo States in America, CISA. They have this ritual, or not a ritual, but a festival in Staunton, Virginia, every year around August. And I've gone there every year before the coronavirus had broken out. I had gone there every year, and some of the people would come from Africa, from Igbo land. They would come to this festival, and so some of the chiefs from Arochukwu would come there, and I would always have a good time with them. And one of the things I told them was, in some ways I have to thank you for what happened, and how, the part that you played in sending Africans from Africa to America, because if it were not for you, if it were not for the fact that you did this, there would never be a Wall Street. You all know what I mean when I say Wall Street?
Please explain to us.
You all know what Wall Street is?
Yes.
When I say Wall Street, you understand that Wall Street is the financial center of the United States or even the world.
Wow.
We know this, right?
Okay.
But you know that Wall Street was a slave market?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in depth.
Yeah, Wall Street was a slave market. That's how it began.
Yeah.
It began as a slave market.
Sure.
And that is the source, and that is the foundation of the world economic system.
Sure.
We can thank the arrow for Wall Street.
And the slaves were mostly Biafrans. We're going to emphasize that later on.
Yes.
That started Wall Street started based on Biafran slaves.
Yeah,
that's right.
Through the entry of the
I'm giving you everything that I'm telling you now. Everything I'm telling you now is roughshod. I'm not going in detail. I'm not giving you the full story.
Yeah, it's rough.
I'm hopping and jumping around.
Yeah.
You see,
exactly.
Because it would take too long for me to give you a detailed, point by point timeline of the things that have been happening and that I've been involved in and that have happened to me in my personal life and in my research. So I'm just hopping around, giving you snapshots of my experience and what I understand about what's happening here. It would take too long a time for me to sit down here and talk about everything that I've experienced and everything that we want to affect here. But this is, I'm just giving you a snapshot.
Okay,
and I would welcome any questions or explanations that you might have.
Okay, I want to do a little recap because we're still going to visit this topic.
I'll need my phone.
So, what I just want my people to pay attention to.
Okay, as a more mute. I don't know whether the noise is coming from you. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not coming from me. I'm not even seeing myself in this. I'm not even seeing myself.
I thought you are the one that. Okay, go out and come in again. Can you take yourself off and come in? I thought you are the one that.
Yeah, it knocked me out and I had to come back.
How do I do it?
Just go back and start all over again. Pretend like you're all over again.
Just go out and come in again.
You know what?
I need the group.
Let me do this recap before you leave. I want you to listen to this because we're
don't leave yet. Yeah, we'll hold on. Traditional workers.
So this is what Prince Luemono, this is his experience, and it's just going to help us in what we're doing. There are two things. First of all, when he went to Arrow, there were people who were sorry for what we did, what the sisters did. Yeah. But then there is the denial part of it. Yeah. Then we are in denial. And I want to tell dear friends that we are still in denial. I don't know if we're in denial out of shame, or if we're in denial because we're evil, or if we're in denial because we don't want Biafra to come. That denial existed then and is still in existence right now. And that's something we need to deal with. We're going to deal with this denial. We did it, and we have to own up to it, and we have to confess, and we have to ask Elohim to forgive us. That's how Biafra will come. Then the other topic that I'm going to let the prince talk about maybe next time.
Yeah, I listed a lot of things he's going to tell us next time.
Jesus Christ. I don't want people to misunderstand him because he's going to go in depth and talk about it. We believe in Jesus Christ. We just don't believe that he's white. He is like us. That's what we're talking about here. So, but I'm going to let him emphasize. I'm not going to put my own opinion into. I'm just going to let him do his thing. But also, some people are confused when they hear like here's the one, Mami Watan, all that. This is an entirely different topic. But I want us to know that Jehovah said that when Biafra is restored, that we are going to worship him in truth and in spirit. In truth and in spirit is the key word. What does the truth and in spirit mean? The prince just gave a highlight of worshiping God in truth and in spirit. It's not about the religion. Religion is not just the Christianity. They use the Muslim religion, the Islam religion. In Mesopotamia, Sama, the slavery when it started, like 11,000 years ago, 35 BC. It all came because of religion. Religion is twisted. There is no spirituality in religion. When our leader Mazen Nandekano said that Radio Biafra is where we worship, people misunderstand him. Radio Nigeria is where we worship because we meet God one-on-one. It's a personal relationship. Biafra is a religion because it is who we are, how we worship God, the way we were meant, the way we were created. So I just don't want people to misunderstand what he said. We're still going to make our time.
Yeah.
And when he says something about the Jewish religion, these things are so complicated. It's just so hard to even figure it out. When I was in high school, I was 12 years old. That's when I became a born-again Christian. And I was born again until after I graduated from college when I was 21. Before I went to my youth service, I went to a Bible school in Lagos with Bishop Oyedepo. That was his Bible ministry then. Technically, I am a pastor. And then as days goes by, I'm still going to talk about how when I worship at a synagogue in Los Angeles. So these things are so complicated, we can't even understand it. When you try to understand it and a physical, you just get confused. It's not physical at all. But all you're going to do is to follow the direction. It's divine direction. When you're asked to do a thing, when the Spirit of God is with you, Spirit of Biafra, this is not about religion. Biafra is not about religion. I worship at a synagogue on Saturdays. Don't forget that I'm technically a pastor. So these things are so complicated. But when God is leading you, because in Biafra, we're going to be spiritual people. When God created us originally, we are highly spiritual people. We didn't have to deal with the religion restrictions. We were working with God the way God intended us to work with him and worship him. So when we enter into Biafra land, we are going to worship God in truth and in spirit. And we're going to understand what worshiping God in truth and in spirit means. It's not about religion. I'm not saying any religion is bad. I'm not saying any religion is good. But one thing I'm going to tell you guys is that religion damaged us. Religion is one of the problems that the whole world has, especially Africa. We're going to talk about why the devil used the religion to attack us in Biafra. But we are getting restored. We are going back to what we're supposed to be. We are going back to God's intention. President Luemuna is almost like a typical example of what all this. Even when he was going out through this, he didn't understand the implication for us, especially now that we're trying to restore the kingdom of God. And we are the original people. Life started in Biafra land. Prince, remember when I was talking about Ezem Mosbu? There was something she said about Niger. My spirit was troubled because I needed to hear her say something emphatically about our origin, the Biafran people, the Igbo people. We are the original creation. God created us. Life started with us. And we lived a certain way. We acted a certain way. We worship God a certain way. And that's what we're going to come back to. And that's why the devil is fighting. Because the devil doesn't want us to come back to who we are, to worship God the way we are. So Biafra, before we continue, I need us to understand Biafra is our religion, is who we are as a person, as the way God made us. And we are going to return the way God made us. We are going to go back to where we used to be. I also want to let us know that after Biafra is restored, every single Biafran all over the world will find a way to come home. When President Luemuna came to Nigeria, he thought he was a person. He thought himself to be a different person. But Elohim, the spirit of Biafra, knew who he was. And what did they do? They brought him to where he belonged. That's what every single Biafran is going to come back to Biafra land, because that's where they belong. So we're just splitting all this on the surface. With time, we're going to go in depth. Because Biafra itself is a spirit. When people say what we do they don't understand what it means. We are spiritual people. We are highly spiritual people. We are highly connected to God. And that's what we need to get back to. This is not about Catholic, about this Christianity, about being a Muslim, this is about being who we are. We are spiritual human beings. And we're going to worship God as spiritual people, not as religious people. Religion did more damage than anything else. So people can misunderstand this. But I know that in due time, Elohim will bring it together.
It's true.
Together. Because we're going to restore Biafra. When Biafra is restored, all this is going to come together. Thank you. Prince, may you continue, please. Before the question.
Okay, let me just ask him something. You know, he like he said he's been touching them bit by bit, because I really will need explanation to so many things. Before we will still wait for Nwokedi to come in, because I would like him to put his input here. Prince Nwokedi, you know, you said you've been on this project for a long time, and you said something about what actually attracted you to Igbo land was you wanted to come to the land of the origin of man. So please, a lot of people don't know who we are. And you said when you came there, that there were people in that land, the forest people. You were saying something about the forest people. So me and you, can you give us a brief of how we met the forest people there, or the forest people, were they actually our ancestors, or did we migrate to come and meet them there? Unmute yourself.
Yes.
Unmute.
Thank you. There are two streams with respect to the origin of the Igbo people. We have one thought which has revolutionized the Afrocentric approach to human origins. The Afrocentric approach to human origins has always been the Nile River Valley civilization, the Nile River Valley Basin, or East Africa. Everything that we have been able to find in our research with respect to science has placed the origin of man in East Africa. Homo sapiens sapien was discovered in East Africa to be 250,000 years old. So the whole world, and anyone who's involved in anything having to do with African research, or even those among us who are Africans, who are Black, who have done our research and who have done our history about human origins, who call ourselves Afrocentrists, this is what we believe. We believe that human origins was in East Africa with we have the one that they found in Ethiopia. What's her name? Lucy. Anthropithecus australicus, I believe it is, or afrensis. Anthropithecus afrensis. That's the Latin name or the Greek name for Lucy, who was discovered in Ethiopia. She was called Eve, Mother Eve, the African Eve. That they say she's the African Eve. But what we found in our research with Catherine Achulonum, we made a revolutionary research that turns that idea upside down, as it were, and we say that human origins did not come from East Africa, but from West Africa.
Yes.
So we have our research indicates that we have found the oldest hominid species in the Niger-Chad Basin. We have found the oldest DNA in West Africa. What I'm talking to you now is science. This is not something that we need to argue about. This is fact that I'm giving you right now. The oldest DNA that has ever been found of human origins is 450,000 years old, and it comes from West Africa, and it comes from the Bo people in the area that we call Biafra today. And that gene was discovered by a descendant of an African slave in Virginia.
Prince, can you please go back again? Can you rewind? To understand what you just said.
The oldest DNA that has ever been found. You can go on DNA. You can go on any Google it. Google it. The oldest DNA that has ever been discovered is 450,000 years old, and it was from the Bo, B-O, the Bo people. You know, any people that have the word Bo after it shows that they're very ancient. So you have the Igbo, and then you have the Bo people in off the coast of India. The Bo people off the coast of India are the blackest people on the planet Earth, and they are little people. We call them dwarfs. They are still here today. They are off the coast of India, way down below the continent of India, on the islands. They are black, and their origins are African. The Bo people, the DNA comes from the Bo people. It has its own designation. I think it's OOA, the haplotype. This haplotype is from the Bo people, of which Igbo is part. Igbo, and it's 450,000 years old. Now that's the oldest human DNA that has ever been discovered. So that puts the human origins in West Africa, not East Africa. Now that's just one proof. There's more proofs than that, but that's one. That's probably one of the most significant discoveries that we made in our discovery of human origins. There are other discoveries that we have made. We have found that the oldest iron smelting civilization is in Nsuka. Did you know that? Nsuka, Leke, in Nsuka. That's the oldest iron smelting site on the planet.
Nsuka, you know, Nsuka, in Enugu State.
Yeah. I've been there a few times.
Yes,
I've been there a few times.
In Biafran land. Yes.
That's the oldest iron smelting site in the world. The oldest stone tool and the largest stone tool site is in Igbo land. And scientists have said that that's where language begins. Language begins with the people who were the first ones who make stone tools.
Huh.
That's Igbo land.
Yes, and that's why when our leader is talking, when he's praying in our language, he says that our language is the original language that is spoken in heaven. So he knows what he's talking, either by spiritual implication or he did his wishes. Because the Igbo language is the original language on the surface of the earth. This is the original language on the surface of the earth. That's why our leader, Martin Nandekan, always says that this is the language of the heavens, because it's the original language. So I'm very, very happy that you brought it up. Please continue. Thank you.
Well, I'll say this much, my dear sister and my brothers. I'm going to tell you something, and I don't mean to be insulting. I want you to know that I love my people.
Yes.
Of course.
So everything I'm saying it from a position of love. I'm not being critical. I'm not attacking. I'm not doing any of those things.
That's okay.
But
Okay.
but when I say you, I'm not talking about just you. I'm talking about all of us. So don't take it personal. But you don't understand your language.
We don't.
You don't understand Igbo.
And it's dying off.
You guys talk Igbo, but you don't know what you're talking about.
Yes.
You guys speak Igbo, but you don't know the depth of the things that you say. You don't know how sacred the language is. Now, I cannot speak Igbo. I don't know Igbo. I may know a few Igbo words, but I don't speak Igbo. But I know the sacredness of the language. And the truth of the spirit is in your language. And you need just to study your language. You need to study the roots of your language if you want to know the truth. And I'm telling you this to you people who speak the language. I don't speak the language, and I know this. Now, I didn't come to this understanding on my own. I was taught this, and I was made to realize this by Dibia, by people who are Dibia, and who have shared with me when I went to them, listen, I've had some, I have some experiences that if I were to share it with you, you would not believe it. I could share some experiences that I've had when I went to the shrine of Nichuku. You all know who Nichuku is? The mother
Nichuku. Yeah.
Nichuku.
Her.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever been to her shrine?
No.
No.
Do you know where her shrine is?
No.
I'm sorry, I'm just teasing you.
It's laughable.
Yes, because that's what they did to us. That's what this religion, the white people, did to us. They know who we are. They make sure that we don't know who we are. They make sure we don't speak that language, because that language is what connects to God. Sometimes when I'm praying, Igbo is even deeper than what we know. Sometimes when I pray, the real language also comes out. And I get amazed, I get shocked. I'm like, why did the devil do this to us? They don't want us to speak that language, because that language is what connects us directly to Jehovah Elohim, the God Almighty, the creator of heaven and earth. So I'm it's so shameful and embarrassing. But I know that our children, the generations to come, are not going to suffer this. They are going to they are going to connect to Elohim the way that he intended us to be. It's very shameful, it's embarrassing, but we can take it. Because with whatever we're learning right now, we're going to help our children. In the next 100 years, coming, they are not going to be like us. They are going to be better than us, because they're going to understand that language. They're going to communicate to Elohim in that language, not in but we are on the right track, I believe.
Sorry, Ugochukwu, his name is Eno Mono, or other Ero Mono.
Yeah.
I've arrived home, so you didn't get his name very well. And like what
I want to say something.
Sorry.
Ezemo has to say something.
Yeah, Ezemo said we are the children of things fall apart. So you don't need to blame us.
We call that Buo. We call Ndibuo. We are not called Ndibo. We were called Ndibuo. That Igbo, Hausa, and the Yoruba is what they used to brainwash people or to colonize the people after things fall apart. We were called Ndibuo, Buo, ancient people. We were called Ndibuo. We are not Ndibo. We are Ndibuo. And this Ndibuo, they speak their dialect. Each region have their dialect. My dialect is different from Arochukwu dialect. It's different from Ngwa dialect. It's different from many dialects. But I have also dialect. We are all Ndibuo. And these people, the ancient people, we are dwarf. I think they are short people. Yeah. We used to call it Nwakanri. That Nri kingdom we are made up of short people, dwarf people. But there is, I don't know, there is a migration. People, the first white people to travel to Africa down that place they come through the ship, through the boat, and they land near the rivers. And that is when they started having these children with the mixed chocolate, with the black women they meet there in Africa. Like DNA Luomuno said, Scandinavia. Some people say that they are Jewish. The Israelites came to Africa through Omambra River, and they meet those indigenous people. They started having children there with the black women they met there. So when people say that the origin is Israel, they are right somehow. They might not know the exactly, but there's people who travel and they come there in that place, and they meet the black people. Alochukwu also is agent during the slavery. And if you watch it in our comments here, like this man calling himself, I don't know what he's calling himself, all these people using fake names to be commenting in the comment section, they are the people who will never allow those people they sell to slave to return. And we better do it like a war, because we have to fight these people. We have to fight against them. They are only small. British use them. The slave masters use them. They know the game they play to the indigenous people of Africa. When you're fighting for your freedom, they will not allow you to say things the way you want to say it. Some of them do things by force. Our law, our ways of life, the nature one, we don't do things by force. We never force some people to do something. We have our ways of life, which in Nwokedi was maintained. We maintain it in that area of Anambra and some part of Enugu. That Imo State, they don't want to maintain it. They divide and they get Abia State from it. These people have been terrorizing that area for a long time from that Arochukwu side, and we have to do it. They only hide them. They have their strategy of ruling everything. You see, our women are doing great job now. But at the end, some people will come and say, in the name of Nande Kano, they start fighting you. But to tell them to do their own thing, they will not do. But after people do the great work finish, they will do it character assassination. We will not allow that anymore. We are calling all our African American descendants to come because these people they take the indigenous people of that land away, and they learn their language. They occupy their land. They don't even know the history of the place. They don't know the history, the culture, and the tradition. They bring their diabolical culture and tradition and impose it in that land. Because the people are practicing live and let live life. They are Democrats. So it's okay, it's live and let live. They bring their diabolical culture and say, yes, it's live and let live. They're doing it. Killing people and eating their meat is their culture. So when we are serious facing the I don't know what they say, the Ogane. What is Ogane in English? The time of hunger. These people are eating everything, stealing the poor man's things, laying out allegation against our elders, our people, and they tell them that they have to go to Arochukwu as we oath. And they have built this tunnel. At the end of this tunnel was a slave ship. And they will go and put water, put paint, red paint inside the water. And they will pour it in their water there in that Benukba shrine. And they will tell us, look at our ancestors. That juju, long juju have killed them. But it's a lie. Because if the long juju were killed those our ancestors, we cannot see somebody like Eluomuno. We cannot see somebody like Haki Kweli Shako. We cannot see all these African Americans and you cannot see them today. But it's the life of Arochukwu, and we will not allow that thing to be existing today in our 21st century. This killing is very important. This is why people are using fake name. So all these people who are using fake name to be agitating for Biafra, and they are asking them to answer their real name. They will go and they maneuver, and they come and say that you are saboteur. You want us to sabotage them. We don't want to sabotage anybody. We want to know everybody. Things happen to our land. Things fall apart in our place, and we want to make this thing to be good again. So for that, we want to make our place to be better again. And we want to confront all our people, all these people that will be feeling that we sell them to slavery. We don't want to be having double mind, that we do bad things to people. These people also know that we did something to them. And we have to acknowledge it and do this atonement. And this is only what is going to help us. If not, we keep on hiding with the fake names. Today, I don't want to call anybody names. But I will go to war if it will lead us to go to war. We will defend our own self. If the people that is selling us to slavery are using weapons, those indigenous people of the land have to equip themselves also. They have tagged us many names. During the Christian missionaries came, you see, when Arochukwu wanted, this is when the missionary came to our land, our ancestors know God already. We were worshiping the gods and the goddesses of our ancestors in those holy temple shrines. They call it a shrine, and they call us a idol worshiper. This is the strategy that they use. And now they go and bring their own idol. The one they first bring is Ubini Ubabi. They bring it from Ile. And that is what is in Oba Beni Palace. Oba Beni, this wicked, evil Oba Beni, kill a lot of ancient people, indigenous people. And his own is coming to an end. I don't have respect for that man. He killed a lot of people. Even the Asian people knows this. The children of Igoromi knows this. All of them there, they knows this, and they are fighting against him very hard. People should tell people truth before we started killing each other. All these are our traditional leaders. All these are our traditional leaders. They are not our traditional leader. They make coup, and they dethrone our traditional leaders and send Ezenri to exile. They send Obi of Newi to exile, and then they put them all this like impostor to us. The king that is going to church, who do not know about Nechuku, who do not know all the names of the shrines in our land, who do not know our history. The one, if you ask him about anything that he don't know, in the night when you are sleeping, he will kill you. You will be assassinated and killed like that. And nobody is going to be answerable to you. Or they will just call you a drunkard or a smoker, or they will just tag you a name. We want to be free, and we must be free. This is the time to be free. All these people that use the slave money and travel to many places. For example, Abreba business is second-hand cloth and the stock fish. This is the trade by barter. When the Arochuku, Ahofia, and Abreba was selling our ancestors to slavery, how did they get the money back? They give them slave, they give them human being, and they get our cracker and the stock fish. This is their business. Nobody is doing this business. It's only Abreba and only Abreba people is doing this business. If you are an Igbo man, go and try the business. You see how they will eliminate you, and they will tell us that we are one. This is Biafra struggle. The real Biafrans wanted to get Biafra, but the fake Biafrans wanted to be making money on top of you, because their ancestors sold our ancestors to. This atonement, I am 100% in support of this atonement. Even if you will take my life, I will do it so that I will be sure of something at last. Yes, I want to make sure that that my ancestors do not participate in a slave, because the place that I was born is in the kingdom. Everything is history there. When they were killing the dwarfs, there's a time that they kill all the dwarfs, but those dwarfs become safe in the kingdom. Nobody kills them there. But Oba Beni massacred a lot of them. He killed all of them from Beni, from many places. That Oba Beni you are seeing there. Yes. There's one man called the Judge of Opobo. He's from Molo. Amibo, in Imo State. He grew the top teeth before Ezana. They sold him to the slavery. At the age of 14, they sold him to Bonny. And the Bonny people later sold him again to the British. And he later come back. King Jaja of Opobo. These people did a lot of things to that land. And we must stand up. We must stand up and do this. And this is the only way that we have to progress. Go to many villages now. I don't want to mention a name. But because if I'm mentioning a name, they will say that I'm instigating a civil war. But I want all Biafrans to acknowledge all this thing. This thing now you see in the Biafra struggle. This one is attacking this one. This one is attacking this one. This one is attacking the other one. Everybody attacking each other. They may be wrong. They may be right. But we have to make a round table where people will be talking and will be listening to him. Some people like me, I was born in a place, and they told me that this place was a town before with 9 villages. They used to known as a blacksmith. So they make gun, they make a knife, they make many things. So later on, the entire villagers become afraid of these people. They started thinking that one day these people will grow and they conquer them. That is better, let them plan something to do these people to eliminate them. So now they call people from Arochukwu, Ohafia, and Dabreba with the slave trade, with the slave masters. So this is how they can be able to conquer my town. And they sell a lot of people there to slavery. Look, all these people in America, all these African American slavery, are they not like me?
Sure.
Didn't they look like me?
Even as tall as you are.
They were taken from my place. And they have to come back. If they do not come, I better kill myself also and die like all these people who died in that place. I don't even care what people are talking about me.
Without them, there's no Biafra. Without them, there's no Biafra.
Yeah?
I want to chip in something. At this very stage that we are, fortunately or unfortunately, nobody can stop Biafra. This is God's own project. This is his own timing. The only thing we have to do is to do the things that we need to do. And nobody can stop us from doing that thing. Two things, this atonement. We have to own up to the sins that we've committed. Whether we like it or not, the spirit of Biafra will force us to do it. Prince Eluemuna said something when he went to Aro. They acknowledged all the evil that we did, that our ancestors did. But then they were in denial. They were out of embarrassment, out of shame, or out of knowing that Biafra will come if they acknowledge it. That is why they didn't want to acknowledge it. They told him, we are going to accept you, but we're not going to accept other people. That's the lie of the devil. Because the devil wants us to meet God one-on-one, to worship God in truth and in spirit. But it is so different right now. Because God himself is the one doing it. This is no longer us. We are not the ones fighting to do this. We're just going to follow directions. Follow instructions, and everything will come to pass. They're all going crazy because somebody said something about autopilot. Autopilot doesn't mean nothing except that the spirit of Biafra is the one that is directing the affairs.
Autopilot.
What we're doing is spiritual because we are spiritual people. When we talk about what we are doing is spiritual. People don't understand. Yes, what we are doing is spiritual because we're spiritual people. And only the spirit has control of what we do. So Biafra is already here and nobody can stop it. We just have to follow directions. We have to own to the evil that we did. We sold our own. We killed our own. We committed the sin of cannibalism. We did that. Even right now, we're still putting people in bondage. There is the Osuka system, the Oruka system. These are different forms of slavery. And that is what we have to own up to. And we have to ask for forgiveness. Because the gods of the land is going to strike anybody that is trying to obstruct this. We have a choice. We're going to acknowledge that we did something wrong. We are going to ask for forgiveness. There is going to be this atonement, and nobody can stop this atonement. Anybody that tries to come in the way of this atonement, the gods of our land will destroy them. Because we're going to this atonement. We are going to do Yes.
I have to say something here. Yes. Because of our discussion here, we will talk about villages. We can even talk about my grandfather. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, the truth.
We are not trying to undermine anybody or stereotype anybody. But with that confession there's no true forgiveness. And that is what we are after right here. You understand? So we are going to say the truth the way it is, and we're going to do the right thing, and Chukwu Kikabiyama will now give us Biafra at the end.
Exactly.
That's only what we are looking for.
Yes.
So I know as a more continue.
I was going to say something before the question.
Many people have been suffering because of this thing, and they about to confess and then accepted this thing until Biafra come. They just enter inside the Biafra and see money, small money, and they started doing the thing again, because if you like do anything to a pig, you have to go to the dirty water. If you like do anything to Obana, I don't know what is that. You have to. So it's have been their character, their culture.
I want to open the line for our
like Kinden Nayanya, who entered the Biafra, and then that spirit entered her brain again. He started collecting money.
Okay,
like all these people. Yeah?
Yeah, because at this point now, it's money they are talking about. The Biafra's battle. It's money. We have not even entered the Biafra thing. The money issue is all over, everywhere. You understand? But hold on, please. We are going to open the line for our viewers to participate.
Prince Lemon was saying something. Let him do a.
I'm coming to him right now. Before I open the line, I'm coming back to Chief Nwokedi. I'm interested in what he said, and he was saying something about Nwokedi. Do we know where Nwokedi is?
Yes, that's what I did.
I'm interested. Chief Nwokedi, please continue.
Nwokedi is located, I think, in 2 places or 3 places in Igbo land.
It's quite embarrassing. He's the one teaching us all these things. Can you imagine?
Yeah, it's because most of us don't know the history, because we keep on reading Bible. When they try to teach them about Igbo culture and tradition, they say that you are idol worshiper, that you are in a Belarus. This is also why many Biafrans hate me, because when I try to direct Mazen Nandekano and tell him try to note that Alose, instead of shouting on the radio Biafra that you don't worship idol, try to understand what that idol, because each one, like this is now, I can call it idol. It's an artifact, but they have history. All this thing here is history. That idol, how about our histories? We better go there and find out our history. And the Mazen and the Kano later acknowledge that he's not saying it anymore in the radio Biafra. And this Yalose people are the people doing audacious. This Yalose people are the people doing great things. Many people are now coming back to their culture and the tradition back again, but they do not acknowledge that this is why traditional Nwokedi stand up and fight for something. Now they are coming for that, but they have to throw traditional Nwokedi away, but they will be doing culture and tradition. That idiot to call himself master prophet. He been doing pastor. He do not pastor anything. He just carried all the women in the church and started impregnating them. This is how the church closed. He entered to become a rabbi. He do not rabbi anything. He come out. Now he wanted to do church. He wanted to do tradition. All this is a character assassination have to end. I work for something, and I started it a long time ago. And then I don't need anybody to tell me you don't do it good. You have to get out of this place. Because you're not from my region. You're from another region who hate my own region. You are from the region who sold my people to slavery. And I survived there. I know how I survived there. Don't tell me that we are one family or one this, then fight there. I will close my hand and tie to my leg. I'm a freedom fighter. I started fighting when I was young. I left to that place when I was 14 years. And I started traveling many villages to go and find out all these findings that I am finding. I don't have money. My father don't have money. I have to be doing small business. Sometimes I become Okada. I have do Okada in my life. I have do conductor. I have open business, and my money finished. I have to start again afresh. All this is what I have to go through to become traditional Nwokedi. And then now, I am in Berlin since yesterday. We are going from different museum to one museum, from different historical places to another historical places. What am I searching for? How are we better my place? And I'll have to tell you that the Alotuku history, culture, and tradition do not survive. What survives is in the kingdom's culture, history, and the tradition. It's medicine after death. When we are looking for Biafra, I want to advise Abreba people, Alotuku people, or Hofia people, all this culture and tradition you see in Alotuku today can be able to parade in an open place because of what? It's not Alotuku culture, it's in the kingdom's culture. Alotuku culture is selling slavery and eating human flesh. And that is over. It's no more in existence. There's nowhere. All these children who cried and they accepted the Eluomuno are the people who are going to be blessed, and they will replace Alotuku. They will do this atonement. The gods and the goddess and the spirit of our ancestors will wipe all of you away. You never see something. You are still using fake name to agitate for Biafra. When Biafra come, do you think we will accept you with the fake names? When Biafra come, we want to know who you are and who your father is and the roles your father and your grandfather play in our land. We will find out those who destroyed Igbo land. We will not take it easy with any of you. And we will do it in our own ways. We hand it to the deities of our God, the God and goddess of our land, to do the fight. Using fake name will not help you in this Biafra struggle. Answering Yahweh in Joshua Young cannot help you. I'm coming out, let me tell you, I'm coming out in the next 5 days. And I will finish you in that program. I want all African Americans to be watching that man calling himself Yahweh Joshua Young. It's not an Igbo name. The man have to say who he is. Not only him, all these people that is using fake name, making Biafra here, they have to cease to exist. Even if we can see Nnamdi Kanu, let the message go to Nnamdi Kanu direct. All these people using fake name to be doing Biafra, let them go out of this struggle, because they are not. We cannot be whiter than white, and using somebody who is a fake name. You have making us to become black and white, or blacker than black. I'm not Psalm 1. You are reading Psalms now. Psalm 1 told me that the blessed are me when I'm not associating myself with the people like you. I do away with the people like those people that is using fake names. Because everything I lay my hand is whiter than white. Go and read your Psalm 1. Go ahead, Dr. Nelly.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You don't stop me.
We have to be mindful that President Luemuna is here and he doesn't know a lot of the topic we're talking about. Yes. So
he's a great man. I know him. I know him. And I know that when this time comes, I will call my people from there. Because we see what he said. Those people that is claiming that they are Igbos, claiming that they are Biafra, they are not Igbos. They only that they are speaking the language. Even they cannot even say the proverb, because we catch them with the proverb. With this proverb, eh? Yes, we catch them with that when the times come. And when they push us to the wall, I have no option than to call my people from African Americans to speak. Yes, and when they started speaking from there, all these people who do not go to school like me will disappear when they will run away.
We want to go back. It's so shameful.
You know, we don't normally have a chief Enomola. We always have you here. People say they really want to hear more from him, but
okay, it's good that he's here.
Okay, so let's hear from him.
So
please, okay, thank you very much.
Please, it's so exciting. Please, can you tell us about Nnechukwudi more, please?
I think you're muted.
Unmute yourself.
I'm sorry. Let me say that I love my brother very much.
Yeah.
I love all of you very much.
Thank you.
so much. Thank you. I will love you
And
too.
I don't know all the aspects of what it is that you're talking about or speaking to. You know, I have some orientation about, you know, Biafra, IPOB, Masob, and all of these different entities. I have some idea about them, but I have never really been involved in any of their activities. My position with respect to the culture, to the spirituality, and so on, has not only been as a scholar, but as a practitioner. I have done some things that they're just too profound for me to talk about. I would have to talk about it at another time, because this is not the platform or the place for me to relate those things. But they're in a high, very spiritual plane. Let me say this though. I had been on a search for identity all my life. I have been on a search for truth all my life. I have been on a search for spirituality all my life. I think maybe, I don't speak for myself, I think maybe for most of you, this is the same thing.
Yeah.
And my search and my experience has been sort of hampered. You know, something was in the way of my journey. Something was in the way of my search. Something was in the way of my research. Something was in the way in my attaining that which I was seeking. And it wasn't until I confronted that and turned it out of my life that I began to understand all things. I began to understand spirituality. I began to understand history. I had a great understanding of many things that find me in a different place today than I was when I left Igbo land in 2019. You know, in my search for spirituality, I was going to Afa, and then they have Ifa in Yoruba. Ifa and Afa are the same, but I think Afa is older. Now, the things that we understand from Afa, I'm only giving you from what I understand from Dibia. There's only one African spirituality. There's only one African spirituality, but it has many expressions. And Afa is one of them. Ifa is one of them. When we look at the hieroglyphics of Egypt, when we go to the spirituality that was in Egypt, when we understand what was taught in the temples of Egypt, it's the same thing as Ifa and Afa. Now, when I discovered that African spirituality is only really one, and that what we are learning in Afa, I don't know how many of you have gone into and had any relationships with any Dibia, but when you have to be initiated to really get into what the Dibias teach. I have never been initiated, but I have been in the presence of Dibia and I have learned a lot. And the things that are being taught in Afa are the same things that are being taught, were the same things that were being taught in the temples of Egypt. Now, when you go and you understand what was taught in the temples of Egypt, you know, above the temples of Egypt, there was a saying, above the temples of Egypt. Do you know what that saying was? Any of you that may have done any research on ancient Egyptian spirituality. Above the temples of Egypt, there was a sign, there was an inscription. And the inscription says, know thyself. Know thyself. The spirituality that is the true spirituality, the goal of that spirituality is to know thyself. That is the basis of spirituality. In the Bible, In the Bible, it is called I am. I am.
Wow.
You know, God's name is not Jehovah. All these names that you give God, that's not his name, you know. These are titles that we give to him. Chukwu Abiyama, Chukwu, all these names. Even in the Bible, Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, Jehovah, Elohim, all these names, those are not his name. He only has one name. When Moses went to the burning bush, and he was told to deliver Israel, that he was the one that was going to deliver Israel, he asked the deity, he asked Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, what is, when they say to me, what is his name? What am I going to tell them? They're going to want to know what your name is. What should I tell them what your name is? And he said, I am that I am. Tell them I am sent you. He says, this is my name forever. That is the only name that he has ever called himself. He never called himself Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. He never called himself all these other names that we find in the Bible. When you look at the name that he called by himself, he says, I am. I am. What does that mean? I am is the awareness of being. That's what I am is. I am is the awareness of being. We don't understand what that means. I am is the awareness of being. I am is the verb to be. So what does it mean to be an Igbo and to come into self-awareness? See, this is the secret. All of us as human beings, all of us as Igbo, and I like to look at, when you look at it analytically, when you look at it scientifically, when you look at it historically, when you look at it genetically, you can go through every category of the arts and sciences, that which we are able to uncover with our mind, with our intellect, and we can see where man originated, where mankind originated. But what does it mean spiritually? What does it mean to discover the origin of man spiritually? The origin of man spiritually is with I am. The awareness of being. In other words, we have to have the awareness of who we are. Now, once we reach that awareness, once I understood what that was, and I entered into true spirituality, I had come to a realization that to be into the awareness of who I am and to come into the awareness of who God is, I had to come into the understanding of something that the Bible talks about, which no other book talks about. I used to be angry with the Bible. I used to be very angry with the Bible. I used to be very angry with the teachings of Jesus and so on. I was very angry. I rejected it. But when I found out what true spirituality was, the Bible became a new book to me. Because, see, I don't read the Bible like Christians read it. I don't read the Bible like Jews read it. I don't read the Bible like anyone else reads it. Spiritual things are spiritually discerned. You have to have the Spirit to understand the things of the Spirit. You can't come to it with your own mind. God is love. That's what it is. God is love. If you don't know or understand anything about spirituality, understand that God is love. and that we are from God. We are God's children. We are God's people. I will even go further and say that we are God's.
Yeah.
Okay. When people talk about when I was away from, when I was not a Christian, I was never really a Christian, but they would always question me about my relationship to Jesus. What do you think about Jesus? My Christian brothers would come to me and say, "What do you think about Jesus?" They try to catch me. They try to catch me in my words. They try to catch me in my understanding. They try to catch me in my faith. It's the same kind of thing. When you read the New Testament, you read about how Jesus was tested by his enemies. They try to test him with questions. They try to test him with this scenario or that scenario. And I was tested the same way. And so I would always answer this way. What do you think about Jesus? Ilumuno. And this is what I would answer to them. I said, well, I believe about Jesus, but I don't believe about it the way you do. Because everything Jesus said, listen to me carefully. Everything Jesus said, I say it. Everything that came out of Jesus' mouth comes out of my mouth. All the words that Jesus say, I say. I don't have the faith about Jesus. I have the faith of Jesus. In other words, whatever Jesus believed, I believe the same exact thing. Whatever Jesus said, I say the very same exact thing. Now, how many of you can do that? How many of you can say that? Now, I had to forgive the Bible because I had a certain relationship with the Bible that was adversarial. That is, the Bible was a book of enslavement to me. I had to forgive the Bible for being a book of enslavement. I had to forgive Jesus. Did you know that I had to forgive Jesus? You know why I had to forgive Jesus? I had to forgive Jesus for being white. Not only did I forgive Jesus for being white, you know who I forgave? I forgave the entire white race. I have a document, a certificate that I made, and I made it to the entire white race, in which I absolved them of all their crimes against me, against my people. I forgave them. I forgave Jesus for being white. I forgave my Aro people for selling my ancestors into slavery. I forgave them. There is where atonement begins. There is where reconciliation begins, because I came into the awareness of God. I came into the awareness of I am. I came into the awareness that in order for me to be like God, in order for me to be like Jesus, I had to be the instrument of love, not only to myself, but to my people. I had to forgive myself of this anger. My brothers and sisters, if you do not forgive yourself and get rid of this anger, you won't find nothing. You won't find God. You won't find spirituality. You won't find atonement. You won't find nothing. Because anger has no place in the kingdom of God. Anger can only go away when you forgive. A person who is angry is insane. A person who is angry does not know what they're doing. If you're going to proceed in a mindset of anger, you're confused. You have to get rid of anger. You know how I know this? Because Jesus, when he was on the cross, anger put him on that cross. And you know what he said? He said, Father, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. He forgave anger because when you're angry, you don't know what you're doing. You will never reach the awareness of what it means to be in the presence of God. The only way you can understand to know what it means to be in the presence of God is to understand who I am is in the presence of God. You have to have the awareness of being in the presence of God. You have to have the awareness of being present in the presence. Let me say it again. You have to have the awareness of being present. Present, present. You have to have the awareness of being present in the presence. PRENCSE, presence. In other words, now. You have to have the awareness of being in the now. Now, let me tell you how I learned this. You know how I learned this? I'm going to give you two names. Joseph Murphy. I said it 3 times. Neville Goddard. You guys never heard of these people. You don't know these people. But these were people in the United States who started teaching about what we call being mindful. Have you all ever heard of that? Being mindful or mindfulness? Listen to me carefully. You know why I started listening to these people? Because what they were teaching were the teachings of ancient Egypt. And you know who taught them? An Ethiopian rabbi taught them. An Ethiopian rabbi taught them this. An Ethiopian rabbi was teaching them the secrets of the ancient spirituality of Egypt. That's how I learned about it. And of course, when I heard about this Ethiopian rabbi that was teaching this thing, this got me back into understanding what the Bible was talking about, because the Bible, we don't know how to read the Bible. You see, when Christianity came to Igbo land, or when Christianity came to West Africa, what they gave you was your own religion, but they turned it upside down. They gave it back. They took African spirituality, they took the original Christian belief and teaching, they turned it up all around, and they gave it back to you, and that's what you believe now. Christianity is not white man's religion. Christianity, those people who say that Christianity is a white man religion, the Ethiopians would have a problem with you, because the Ethiopians have a Christianity that predates anything that came to West Africa. Christianity is an African religion. What you understand as Afa, Odinana,
Omenana.
Yeah, all that. That is Christianity, but you don't know it. What you read in the Bible is the true Afa, but you don't know it because you don't know how to read it. You don't know how to read it. You don't know how to read the Bible esoterically. You don't know how to read the Bible psychologically. You cannot read the Bible the way that you've been taught to read it. You will never get to the awareness of who you are by reading the Bible the way that it's been delivered to you by the missionaries. You will not learn it that way. You have to have a new perspective when it comes to spirituality, and that begins with you as the individual. You have to come into the awareness of who you are. And when you come into the awareness of who you are, the world, everything, the Bible, it will become a new thing to you. Because you have no anger. When you have no anger, my brothers, you are at peace with everyone. We have to come through this atonement without anger. You know, everybody is guilty. We're all guilty, you know. We don't have to blame the arrow. We don't have to blame those folk, my ancestors in Igbo land that sold my ancestors to slavery. No. I don't have to blame the Arabs. We all are guilty. You know why? Slavery was an equal opportunity employer. Slavery was more, it was more famous. I can't think of the right word, but it was, you know, you've heard of McDonald's, right? McDonald's
Yeah.
is the hamburger place,
Yes.
right? They sell hamburgers.
Yes.
They sold over 1 billion hamburgers. McDonald's is everywhere in the world, right? They got McDonald's in China. They got McDonald's in Russia. They got McDonald's in Europe. They got McDonald's in just about every major nation. I didn't see no McDonald's in Nigeria, but they have them just about everywhere. Slavery was more common than McDonald's. Slavery was more common than McDonald's. You could go to, almost literally, you could go down to Bonnie with a boatload of Africans, and you could get a hamburger right off that ship. I'm speaking metaphorically when I say that. Slave trading was like that. It was almost fast food. That's how quick it was, and that's how pervasive it was. And everybody got a piece of that pie. Everybody got a piece of that slavery pie, even African Americans. Do you know that my African Americans ancestors came to Nigeria and helped colonize Nigeria? Did you know that? I have to give my own African American ancestors for the part they played. Well, that's what I mean when I say that no one has clean hands when it comes to this. We're all guilty. We all got a piece of that pie. And the only way that we can get around it is not only to acknowledge it, but we have to forgive it. And then we have to come to the awareness of what it means to forgive. And that is not to have anger. If we come into this thing with anger, you might as well forget it. You're not going nowhere. You can make all the noise you want in the world. You can philosophize all you want. You can curse and bless and do everything that you want to do. If you have anger, please hang up. Please go away. There is no place in this movement of spirituality if you're going to have anger, because there's no anger in the Spirit of God. When you understand who God is, when you understand who you are, when you understand who God made you to be, when you understand the awareness of what your being is, you will have love. You will have love for everyone. Listen, when I came to Nigeria, I didn't know about this tribalism stuff that you all were doing. I didn't understand this thing about, I came over there as a Fula, right? If I had known this thing that was happening between the Fulas and the Igbos, I probably would have been afraid to come to Africa. I probably would never come, because I would have seen all this stuff between this tribalism that's going on in Nigeria. If I had known that before I came, I probably would never come. If I had known this antipathy that existed between the people in Africa, in Nigeria, I probably would never come. There's a lot of anger going around there. There are people of goodwill everywhere. I was a Pan-Africanist. Before I came to Nigeria, before I set foot on Africa, I was a Pan-Africanist. When we came into African consciousness in the 60s, in the 60s, when I grew up as a young man, we would never call ourselves Africans. We would never call ourselves Black. We were colored people. We were Negroes. On my birth certificate, it doesn't say Black. On my birth certificate, it doesn't say African American. It doesn't say that. You know what it says on my birth certificate? It says Negro. Negro. We would never call ourselves African Americans. We would never call ourselves Black or anything like that. But when this consciousness came to us in the 60s about being Black and proud, you've heard that. I'm Black and I'm proud. we began to embrace what it meant to be black. And we began to embrace what it meant to be African and to be African. And we didn't know anything about being Igbo, being Fula, being from this tribe in Ghana, being from this tribe in Liberia, being from this tribe in Ivory Coast, being from this tribe. We didn't know anything about that. Only thing we knew was Africa. And so we would wear African clothes. And we didn't care where it came from. We didn't care whether it came from the Fula. We didn't care whether it came from the Igbo. We didn't care where it came from the Yoruba. For us, it was all the same. This is Africa. So we would wear African clothes. We didn't know that we were wearing Yoruba clothing. We didn't know we were wearing Hausa clothing. We didn't know that we were wearing Fulani clothing. We didn't know that we were wearing Igbo clothing. I didn't understand none of that until I came to Nigeria. And I said, oh, you can't dress like that, because if you dress like that, that means you come from this place. Oh, you can't dress like this, because if you dress like that, that means you come from this place. So there was this tribalism thing. There's no tribalism here among African Americans, because we're all mixed up. I can claim any tribe. I can claim any tribe to say that I'm from Africa. I can claim to be Ashanti. I can claim to be Hausa. I can claim to be Fula. I can claim to be Igbo, because when they brought us over here, they didn't keep us separated by our tribes. They mixed us all up so that we couldn't identify where we came from. So I am Ilumuno. I am Sidney Davis. In me is the blood of all Africa. And I'm not speaking for myself. I speak for my brothers over here. We're all mixed up, and we're not coming back to Africa saying I'm a sectarian tribalist, because we don't believe in that. We are Pan-Africa. We embrace all of our brothers and sisters. We have, well, now I'm speaking for myself. I have no hate toward no one. I embrace all of my brothers and sisters. I embrace everybody that's in my DNA. I embrace everybody that is in me. I embrace them, and I love them. I was not always that way. I used to have self-hatred. I used to hate myself. I used to hate my Scandinavian DNA. I used to hate certain DNA that separated me from being what I wanted to be. I had to get rid of that hatred. And I had to learn to love myself. I had to come into the awareness of who I am. I had to come into the awareness of being. I had to come into the awareness of what it meant to be spiritual, truly spiritual. I had to come into the awareness of what it meant to be God. I'm a God to my people. We are gods to our people. We cannot afford to have hatred. We cannot afford to be in this thing, all this tribalism stuff. It is not just Igbos that need to repent and return and make atonement. All of Africa has to do it. All of Nigeria has to do it. I think that what Biafra is doing, I think what Igbo land is doing, is beginning a thing that will proliferate and spread, not just in Igbo land, not just in Biafra, but all over Nigeria, all over Africa, all over the world. What you are initiating, what you hope to begin, is just the beginning. It is not the end. You're just starting. You're like a baby beginning to walk. What you've initiated, you don't realize how great it is. You can't put a limit on it. The spiritual.
I will not answer somebody. My brother, do you have problem with me?
For me? Are you talking to me?
It's a more. We are hearing your voice here.
All right. My brothers and sisters, I don't know how to say it much better than what I've said it right now. Except that you, and I'm not going to say you, when I say you, I'm not speaking to you, I'm speaking to all of us, I'm even speaking to myself. You have begun something that is just the beginning. It's just a baby getting up, learning how to walk. we have a great work to do in bringing this consciousness not only to you and I as individuals, those of us who are here, but to our people, to our families, to our land. The healing is not just for us as people. Our land has to be healed too. The land is cursed. We have to bring healing to the land as well as to the people. And so this is a spiritual movement that has just begun. I am so happy to see it being, some attention being given to it with what I see happening here, because I had I had given up on Africa. I had given up on everything. I wasn't having any kind of communication with anything having to do with Africans after I left Africa in 2019. I was surprised that my brother called me on the phone and told me what was going on. I was very surprised, but I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was a wonderful thing. I said, wow, they're beginning to wake up. They're beginning to see. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at a phenomena. I'm looking at an idea whose time has finally arrived. And I see it arriving in what our brothers and sisters are doing right now. And I only can encourage you to continue, because we may see things like when the man who was blind and Jesus put, he spit on the ground, made some mud, and he put it on the eyes of the blind man, and Jesus said, "What do you see?" He says, "I see men as trees walking." That's what we're doing right now. We are seeing men as trees walking. Our vision is not occluded yet. Our vision still needs to be open. Our vision, we're seeing things, but we're not seeing it clearly. But the healing is being applied to our minds right now. Mm-hmm. And the day is going to come when our eyes are going to be fully open and we're going to see. But I think right now, as we are endeavoring on this great spiritual journey, that we are having the salve being put to our eyes, and we're just opening our eyes like a little baby, trying to recognize what we're seeing in the world. That's what we're doing right now. It's going to come when our eyes are going to be fully open. We're going to see. Is someone talking?
It's the noise from the background of Zemo.
Okay. I'm going to rest right here because, I don't want to take over this discussion. I'd rather just answer questions or hear comments.
Yeah. I'll open up the line, but if you can take 2 minutes or 1 minute to talk about
I want to talk something before you open up the line.
Traditional market. Let me say something in line to what you just finished saying.
I'll let you do something.
Okay.
He said something about spirituality, about healing, about forgiveness. He wasn't directing to anybody. This is going to be the entire black race.
Yes, I love that. That is what we want to say something to. Yeah.
Let me just emphasize. This is a prophetic message that has been given to many. This is what Priest Emma Elwemona just said. There's going to be a healing that is going to take over the entire black race. And do you know who is going to bring this healing to mankind? Biafra. The coming of Biafra is going to bring this healing.
Yeah.
Please, I'm sorry to say this. We can't just get rid of this anger. It doesn't come automatically.
I wanted to say that also. I didn't want to lie.
Biafra is going to bring this healing. It's going to bring this forgiveness. And it's going to draw us closer to God. Our leader, Martin Andekano, always says that there is no way the earth will end without Biafra coming. Because the coming of Biafra signifies so many things. It signifies going back to where we are. Usually in a circle, it starts, there's a 360 degrees before it comes to the end where it started. It always ends where it started. That is what is going to happen to life. That is what is going to happen to mankind. And that is what Biafra is good. We have so much anger because there's so much that has been going on. Even in our organization, IPOB, there's so much anger because you see things. You're beginning to question, why would anybody act this way? Some of the things we do, we don't know because now it's spiritual. It has always been spiritual. It depends on the spirit. Is it the evil spirit, or is it the spirit of God? Now the spirit of God is in operation. We have our land. And our land is a woman, the spirit of Biafra. And the gods of our land, they are the ones in charge right now. That's where, even in our organization, we say that what we do is spiritual. I don't even think, in the beginning, I didn't understand it until I started to get a revelation of what spiritual means, spirituality. Biafra, we are spiritual human beings. We're spiritual beings. Because when God created us, when Elohim, and I'm glad to call him by what you said, I am. When the I am that I am created us, he created us as spiritual beings. And that's what Biafra is going to get into. We are going to become spiritual beings. And the entire black race and the entire world. What is going to happen in Africa is going to impact the whole mankind. Because life started with us. And we are going to generate, we're going to pass that energy out. That love is going to come. That forgiveness is going to come. But for this atonement, there has to be forgiveness. But the good is that the forgiveness is not going to come self-will. The spirit of Biafra is going to put that forgiveness into us. We are going to ask for forgiveness. We are going to do an atonement. We're going to start from Biafra land. And we're going to take it to the Americas. We're going to take it all over the world. There is going to be this healing. And Biafra will bring this healing. That's something I need to emphasize. I don't want anyone to think that, yes, nobody is, he's not picking on anybody. But it's a prophetic message. And I know it because I've already received that message. And I've already shared that message with so many people. There is going to be calm. There is going to be forgiveness. There is going to be peace. We are going to live as spiritual people, spiritual beings. We are even, it's just so amazing. We don't understand who we are, and then I think with time, we will begin to actually realize who we are.
It's already starting. It's not a day thing. The awareness has come. Yeah.
I'm so grateful.
It's already here.
I will give our viewers.
Come back. We're going to have other speakers from Holland and from other places. Believe me, what you just said, you're going to hear it so many times. That is going to help our Biafran people to understand.
Okay. I'm going to take calls, please. They are my neck. And then anybody calling in is going to be like 2 minutes, please, because we're running out of time. To give other people.
He wanted to say something. Let him speak, please.
No, when we are rounding up, we will say something. And when we are rounding up, I'll come back to that Nechubu. I really want to know about before I leave here. So, but this is time for our viewers to talk, please.
Okay. So, listen, we're going to talk about Nechubu maybe on your next visit. We're going to emphasize it.
Okay. Yeah, hello, good evening. You're welcome to the program.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You have 2 minutes, please. Don't be angry. We are running out of time.
Of course, I would take 2 minutes.
No problem.
You guys are doing so well. You are doing so well, especially you are doing so well.
Thank you, sir.
And Dr. Nelly of Shebu, wow.
You finally see her face.
I'm so happy.
Nelly in the house.
You are so beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you.
One Biafra. Yes. I just want to appreciate you people for what you do. And the way Dr. Nelly take on this evening, it was so beautiful. So beautiful. Wow. When you hear some people are trying to damage people's image or all that because of their selfish interest, you would think is that, oh my God, you will just be wondering. But now we are seeing the pictures, But Dr. Nelly, they said that you will come out one day and start insulting Mazin and the Kanu. So let's just wait. Since they said that you are not coming outside, you are not showing your face, you are saboteur, this one because you are not showing your face. So let's see. Maybe we will believe them after when you start cursing them out. You know what I mean? But yeah. I really appreciate and I acknowledge this history that and this our brother that said that has gone to Igbo land and he has met all the DBS and all that. He said everything is documented and all that. I am like kind of, that is, I just did somehow surprised. Say, now, person from America, they sit down, they tell us our history. If not be Martin Amdekan, we have lost it all, not be small. And I've seen another person again from America narrating the stories of where we come from. Well, it's okay. We be children we lost, but we'll soon find ourselves and we'll all go back home. We will all go back home. And traditional Nwokedi, I appreciate your story this evening, everything. So nice, and I appreciate. I enjoy it. Una do well. We move.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for calling in.
Please, speaker, let me say something in regards to what you said about our leader, Mazin Nandekan. This is a piece of advice for everybody. Anybody that curses Mazin Nandekan, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, hold on a bit.
The person is going to see doom. The person is going to die. Anybody that has had hand in doing anything against Mazin Nandekan, to hurt him, to betray him, to kill him, to talk evil about him, that person is bringing condemnation. This is a prophetic message. I'm telling you because it's the truth. And Elohim is my witness. You bring any evil against that man, you're going to die. So this is a piece of advice for people who are saying that I am going to come, and there's no way, because I want to live, I want to be alive. I can't. I know what I see. So it's a piece of advice for people who are saying evil or planning evil against him, because they will face the wrath of Elohim. They're going to face condemnation. They will die. And that sin will be passed on to their children, even to the 4th generation. Please, it doesn't matter. Even if he's carrying poop in his hand, it's not your job to condemn him. That is, you're condemning yourself. It's a straight condemnation. So forget about those people saying what they're saying. I know what I know, and I'm advising people. He is our Messiah, take it or leave it. He is who he is. God made him the way he made him. When Miriam said something about Moses, there are so many other citations. God came, God was angry. God said, I come down from heaven to be with Moses. I talk to him as a friend. I speak to him. He said he's God's friend. You are gossiping with my friend. That's what God, Elohim, said about Moses. He told Miriam, I gave you revelation in a dream. I visit you in a dream. But Moses is my friend. Namdekan is a friend to God, to Elohim, to Kotikabia. He's the Messiah that was sent to us. You dare not condemn him.
So Nelly, somebody is on the line, please. You know, Chief Edomola does not understand all this one, so let's not.
Yeah, I know, but I have to. Yes.
Yeah. Hello, good evening. You're welcome to the program.
Hello. Good evening, Sister Shiwe.
Evening.
My name is. Good evening, Dr. Nelly. Good evening, Mazi, my good friend. Good evening, our America brother that they sold their ancestors to slaves. So thank you for coming on this show this evening. Shiwe, I want to contribute on the names. You know, when he was talking about the names, so I was listening to him.
Okay.
He's right. Because one of our Ijo man, the man is an elderly man. He said, we were a crown. The man said, we were a crown. Before invaders come and invade us, those invaders, they were the ones selling our ancestors. So, I sent you one video, that the video that America people, the California people, they trace their ancestral land to Benin City. I think you will watch that video very well. I also send it to traditional Nwokedi. So you guys have to watch it because the part of the people that find their DNA. You know, this our brother just now, I just mentioned something. He said Osuka and West Africa. West Africa means that place, that area of Igodo, you know, that place where Ugbo means farm. And traditional Nwokedi, just say it now. He said the name is not Igbo. It was Ugbo. Ugbo in our language means farm. The people that is farming. And there is a place where Oni of Ife said we were Ugbo. That area area was Ugbo, not Igbo. So I think traditional Nwokedi is right, because just make sure the name just now. Then I rethink. I want to go and look for that video where Ooni of Ife said that word. That these people were Ugbo. You understand? And you know, this our brother here that is speaking from America, he said the name was not Jehovah. It was Ha. You know, all our names start with Ha, Igbo, Idu, Ibibio, Izo. You know, all the names start with Ha. So that name, we need to find what is the meaning of that name. And traditional Nwokedi say one thing, said that we are calling our people Ugbo, and this our brother said it was Uji or something. He said they were black Indians. You know, something is missing here. You understand? We have to go deeper. Because me, I'm going to call somebody tomorrow morning in Ijoland. The guy will tell me more. I will call the man. It's an elderly man. I will call him and tell him, look at what somebody just said. What is the meaning of that thing? You understand? So the name it matters a lot, because Ooni of Ife mentioned it. He said we were Ugbo. That area, our area was Ugbo. It was the time that the people there, they were farmers. They called them Ugbo. You understand? So we need to go deeper and deeper, because the California people, I will send you the video. If I'm not saying you, I send it to many people now. The California people, a lot of them trace their ancestral DNA to that dynasty. You understand? So something our people that sold in America people in 400 years ago, a lot of them, they are from Anambra and that Edo State. There is a video when one elderly man was talking to our leader, and he was pointing to Benin. You know, after they arrest our leader, so I go back and be watching all those videos. You understand? So I'm looking at all this video, what is the meaning? The one I don't understand, we send it to my friend, we explain. So there is something that make we Biafrans have not be free. We have to dig it. You understand? It is now. We have to dig. You know, our people need to do research. That is my own contribution. And contribution about that name. That name means something. You understand? We have to do research on names. Because that guy, that man said, we were a clan. Seven children in the Bible. That is how we were living. Our forefathers were living with different languages. You understand? But he said that they were living together. They are the same people. Until invaders come, they now started selling themselves. You see, when
they are telling me your 2 minutes is gone, the people are already. Yeah, but you are going to hold on. You are going to hold on. I don't know whether Chief I don't know whether he has something to say to you. Is he on mute?
I think he's muted.
Yeah. You're on mute, Stephen Omono.
I'm sorry. Were you directing something? You were directing something to me?
You heard what she said. I don't know.
No, I couldn't hear her clearly.
I don't know whether you have something to say.
I couldn't hear her clearly. I'm sorry.
She was talking about the origin of our name. She was talking about the I in all our names, the Igbo, the origin of the word Igbo.
When you say
when you said that, she was trying to make connections, and she would like you to emphasize it a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know that I am knowledgeable enough or competent enough to respond to that question or that observation, because I'm not conversant in Igbo language.
Okay, maybe Nwokedi has something to say. Maybe you
know what Elomuno said. He said that everybody have to do this atonement, and we don't have to do it with the anger. We have to do it with the forgiveness. I learned a lot there. You know.
Well, let me say with respect to that, my brother,
Yeah.
my traditional Nwokedi Dada Nwa Udu Udonka kingdom, my brother.
Yeah.
I love you, man. It begins with the individual.
Yes.
Individual.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing that I might be able to say with respect to anything that I stated. That it begins with me. It begins with you. It begins with every individual here. It has to begin with the individual. Each of us as individuals have to come to that realization. Don't wait for someone to bring it to you. Don't look up to somebody to give it to you. It is in you already.
Yes.
You have to become aware. That's all you got to do is become aware. We all have to become aware that this is an individual work that we have to do as individuals, as well as a people, as well as a nation, as well as a community. It begins with you and me as an individual. You have to forgive. Don't wait for someone to tell you to do it. Don't wait for something from out of the sky to come down and tell you to do it. Don't wait for some man to give you permission to do it. You have the power. You have the power right now within you. All of us do. It has to begin with us. And when we all see, it's all of us as individuals. When we come together as individuals, that's where the power comes. Because if we're looking for something to come out of the sky to sanction us as a people to do it, if you're looking for some God to come out of the sky like we're like Mount Sinai and he's going to do it, no, that's not going to happen. It's going to happen to you and me as individuals. It's going to happen to you and me when we sit on our bed at night and we meditate and we think and we come into the awareness of who we are and we come into the awareness of who God is in us. The Bible talks about us being the temple of the Spirit. That's what you have to realize. You have to realize that the Spirit of Chuka Abiyama, whoever your deity is, whether it be, excuse me, Nyechuku or Chuka Abiyama. We understand God as a spirit. That's the first thing you have to understand. And that Spirit of God dwells in you, in me. That's the awareness I'm talking about. And that's where we have to address it in ourselves as an individual. We have to come to an awakening, as it were. The Bible calls it being born again. The Bible calls it being born again. It's not a nation that is born again. It's you, the individual. It's me that has to be born again. All of us have to come into that consciousness. When we all come into that consciousness, that's where you'll see the movement take place. And you know what? It's going to take place by itself. We won't even have to do anything.
Exactly.
It'll come naturally. So, my brother, I'm sorry for interrupting you. My brother.
You're welcome.
Yeah, friends,
because
viewers, the line is open right now. When the time is up, I will close the line and you'll be calling. So if you want to call in right now.
Can I speak or you're waiting for call? I don't know.
No,
okay, they're already calling. And anyone that is calling is 2 minutes, please. Yeah. Hello, good evening. You're welcome to the program. Yeah. You're welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You're welcome to the program.
Okay, thank you.
Your 2 minutes just begin now. Start.
I have a lot to say. I have some comment to make.
No. Maybe you have to rewind. You have to come back again. Everybody has to call. We already run out of time. Look at the time right now.
Let people share this video because everything has to start in this page. Everything started here. Share this video. Let us start doing it here. If what you are doing or what you are saying touches your mind, share this video. Invite other people. Let everybody come here.
Traditional Nwokedi, his 2 minutes just started now. 2 minutes, my brother, please.
Okay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The position of our brother from the US I'm not sure. It's kind of contradictory to me because I'm not sure what.
Hold on, there's something I said. See, hold on, there's something I said earlier. You don't dispute somebody here. If you have a contrary opinion, you come and give us your narrative, please.
Just ask
And I want
question.
to contribute to
There's
that.
something he doesn't understand.
Let this
If there's
person
something
who
someone
calls
doesn't
on
understand,
phone tell
let
us
them ask
his
the
name, his village, and his town.
No,
What
I have told you.
what we are doing, the gods and the goddess of our ancestors who bring us in this program, we give us
the program
some knowledge and
open for anybody
understanding
to come.
to settle everything that we are about to settle here.
If you have a contribution,
If the caller have anything against Eluomuno, let him tell us his village and his town. We will tell him the reason why he is doing like that.
2 minutes is going. Other people don't engage the line, please. 2 minutes. If you have a question, you ask your question.
Okay. The brother from the I believe his name is Sidney Davies.
He's
Eromono.
Eromono.
I'm not quite sure where. Okay, sorry about
Boy, call him Eluomuno.
because he started.
No, call him Eluomuno.
I said, okay, thank you. He began as an African reclaimed. He kind of reclaimed himself by going back to his roots and familiarizing himself with the traditions he was disconnected with, which would have been a very great story if he had left it there. But in the end, he came back again as a kind of as kind of confused, not knowing. I think he was in a kind of an identity crisis. I eventually had to.
Sister Chinwe, Sister Chinwe, let me tell you, you will contribute. Sister Chinwe, let me tell you something. If anybody call here, the person have to tell us who he is. We are not more in the past life. We are now in the new life, doing new things. If anybody wanted, we are giving people orientation and rehabilitation and integration. No. If anybody call on this page, tell us who you are. We want to know who you are.
Okay.
We're not doing Chinese things here. If you want to call, tell us who you are, please. It's very important.
Yeah, you know why I have to cut? I said this: if you have a contrary opinion, the platform is open for you. And I said this brother did it last time. He's still doing it again.
He's going to come out with. He's going to say Prince Eluemuna said arrow. This is not what we're doing here.
Hello. We have a caller on the line. Hello, good evening. You're welcome to the program.
We have this atonement, regardless of what anybody said. Regardless of you abusing, we're going to have this atonement because there's going to be a healing in Biafra.
Hold on a bit, yeah.
There's going to be a healing.
Yeah, hold on, please.
Mazen Nandekano used to see this thing before, and that is why he used to ask people, where do you come from? Where are you calling from? And your village.
Hold on.
We learned this thing from Radio Biafra, from Mazen Nandekano. And we have to continue with that. If not, we are doing another thing.
Okay.
If anybody call here, tell us who you are, please. Where you're coming from and where you're calling from.
Okay, somebody's already on the line. Yeah, okay, my brother, good evening and welcome. Tell us your name and you proceed. Okay. You have 2 minutes.
Good evening. From Germany.
Okay.
I appreciate what you are doing and all that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate a lot. But there's another I want to throw in is that most time we blame our fathers for slavery. We blame them for slavery and all that. But we Africa, we have one attitude. We are very open to strangers. When it comes to strangers, Africa is very open. So before even in the slavery time, it's not only Africa that was into slavery. The whole world was into slavery. But where Africa lost it, when they see a foreigner come in, they were also doing this slavery market with them. I think that is a normal ways of life. So slavery are being part of life in those days. So, but our forefathers lost it by welcoming these evil people. I will call it evil because they come as an angel into our land. They come as an angel, just to come and win our heart, make us feel that they are part of us. And as a human, as they are, we see them as one as well. So, but we didn't know that they have an evil agenda. So, you know, these people, they can come with their smiling teeth and everything just to make us feel that, yes, they love us, that they have love in them. So I believe that our forefathers, what they do, that they feel that these people are part of us. That's why they actually relate with them, just like the way we relate to ourselves in Africa.
Yeah,
so this is what I see. Sometimes I don't blame this our forefather. We are even in date, we still have this love of this attitude of welcoming strangers. We welcome strangers. Sometimes we welcome strangers the way we also welcome ourselves. We love strangers. So this is what I can say concerning that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, but our forefathers were welcoming strangers, not instead of selling their brothers now.
Chinwe, please direct this comment. We are talking about atonement. We're not talking about accepting strangers or not. Beside the point. This is what we did. We need to atone.
Atonement is what we are talking about here.
Atonement is what we're talking about. Please, your question or your comment should be based on atonement. Yeah. How do we get this done? Because we have a mission. We have to step into Biafra land, please.
Atonement and what do you say again?
Slavery atonement is the same.
Okay, atonement is our key word here, please. How do you go about it?
Tell us about atonement. How do we get this done?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, you're welcome.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Freedom Fighter. Yeah, I just want to say something here so that to be clear to all Biafrans worldwide. I know because they invite Olumulo.
Yes.
You know, so it's going to be somehow to people. But I just want them to remember that when Rihanna declared that she's an Igbo girl, everybody, all Biafrans was busy sharing it. Now because of Olumulo, because in this platform, it's going to be somehow, you know, like people will be coming with their nomadic brain and be asking a country that is opposition or that is indirect or however question or all those things or looking for fault so that they will see something to say. But the reality of life is that Olumulo is an Igbo man and we accepted him. It doesn't matter where he come from. And we will still need more of him to wake up, and also because they are all Biafrans who went there for slave. So please do not confuse, okay? This platform is not to confuse. Any platform you see is not to confuse. Not because of saying he's here now, you have to group it like something else. When Rihanna declared he's an Igbo, I know how we all Biafran share it. I was the only one that told him told her that she should talk about the killings in Igbo land where she come from. So please don't be biased in your mind. Come with your mind and then learn. We are all learning, okay, for Biafra to come.
Yes. So
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's a wonderful contribution. See, yeah, a wonderful contribution. So as we are waiting for our viewers to call, Chief Nwokedi, please, can you talk a bit about Nwokedi? Because I will not be able to sleep well today if I don't hear more about Nwokedi. sorry, I have to stress you today.
Nwokedi, right?
Yeah.
My understanding about what I was taught with respect to Nwokedi came as a result of my having separated my understanding about spirituality and religion. I had to separate myself from everything that I ever understood about spirituality and religion to come into a consciousness or understanding about Nwokedi. And I became a devotee of Nwokedi, and I elevated Nwokedi as the mother of God. The mother of God. It may sound strange to say that God has a mother. Well, the mother is God. That's what I believed at that time. I believe that the supreme deity of Igbo land, and I learned this from the DB as well, was Nchuku. And so I was a great devotee in Nchuku. And as a result, I was a great, I came to respect the African woman very much. I became to have a great respect, almost a worship of the African woman and the place that the African woman held, not only in Africa, but in Igbo land. You know, I don't know how many of you have ever heard of Sheikh Anta Diop. Sheikh Anta Diop. Any of you ever heard of him? Sheikh Anta Diop is spelled D-I-O-P. Sheikh. Have any of you ever heard of him? He is a great scholar, African scholar, out of Senegal.
From Senegal.
He's out of Senegal. He's late now. What he was so famous for, he proved from DNA, from genetics, that the ancient Egyptians and the pharaohs of Egypt were not only black, but their origins were West Africa. The pharaohs of Egypt, Sheikh Anta Diop. And so he also talked about the ancient cosmology of Africa was a matriarchal cosmology. That when you look at the Egyptian spirituality and you look at the Egyptian monuments, you see what I would call the goddess. I don't call her a goddess. I call her God. In the beauty of the heavens. The beauty of the heavens was her body. That is.
Hold on a bit.
Yes. So I came to the conclusion from my understanding of the spirit of Nchuku that Africa could never be free, would never experience freedom until the black woman, the African woman, is free.
Yes.
And so when I looked about Nigeria, when I looked about Igbo land, when I looked about Africa in general, but especially Igbo land, I saw how oppressed the African woman is. The African woman is oppressed. And not until she reaches her elevation as betokens her spiritual origins, will we make any progress as a community, as a people, as a civilization, or whatever it is that we want to achieve, because she has to be free. The African woman has to be free. This is why I marvel, so to speak. I sort of kind of marvel when I see these women taking the charge. You know, when I first came to Africa, I was looking for you. I was looking for Nelly. I was looking for Chinwe. I was looking for you. I said, where are these women at? How come these women are not making noise? They need to be making noise, these women. How come they're so silent? And I was looking for you back then, but you were not to be found. Now I'm looking at you. Now I'm looking at you. So you women have to speak up. You got to talk. You have to open your mouth. You have to assert and realize who you are. You have to come into I amness. You have to come and realize who you are and lift us up, because you are a mother. You are the mother. You are the incarnation. You are the manifestation of Nchuku. So that's all I got to say about Nchuku. Achulunu, her Izawan, Catherine Achulunu, she looked at me, she say to me, you have the spirit of a woman. I said, well, what do you mean? Because you have the spirit of a woman in you. Now, I took that as an insult. But what she was doing was giving me a compliment. Well, I realize that now, but I didn't realize it then. You know, the thing about Alpha, that it recognizes that there's a female and there's a female on the male side of the universe. Christianity doesn't admit that. Islam doesn't admit that. Judaism doesn't admit that. But African spirituality admits that. It admits that there's a male side and there's a female side. You know, and the way that I was teaching it, the way that I understood it, it was the female side that gave birth to the male. The mother is the earth. God made Adam from the earth. Adam had a mother. There's nothing that exists that don't have a mother. The mother is supreme. Now, I have a different view of it now, but that's what I understood then, and I think it's to a certain great extent it is true now. And I think it is very wonderful when I see my African women speaking, coming out. I only have one thing to say to my African women: beautiful, you're so beautiful. I love my African woman, and I don't think there's nothing more beautiful than an evil woman. May I tell you, when I go to Africa and I go to Ibn land, I love to watch the women. There's nothing like them.
Yeah.
There's a certain thing about them, I can't explain it. They have a great spiritual thing. When I went to these shrines and I went to these Davies, I would look at the figure of Mama Wata. You know, I used to worship Mama Wata. I used to worship her. I used to go to the river now. I used to go to the ocean, and I would make my offering. I would make my sacrifice. I went to the shrine of Nchuku and I offered sacrifice. And I prayed. I prayed to her. And I prayed for my people. When I prayed to her, I prayed for my people. I prayed not when I say I pray for my people, I pray for my people here in Africa, and I pray for my people here in America. That this consciousness that I see happening now would eventually come. And I told my friend, my partner, Eziwan. I told her, Eziwan, Catherine, I don't know. I said, I'm welled up inside with this information, with this knowledge, with this thing, and I want to communicate it, but I don't know how to communicate it. How can I reach my people with what it is that is in me? It's just burning up in me. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to get it out. You know what she told me? She said, "Don't you worry." She says, "Don't you worry. You don't have to get it out. You don't have to go looking for nobody. They're going to come looking for you." So I just sat back. I didn't worry no more. And I'm just waiting for people to. This is happening right now. My brother came to me. You sisters came to me. I didn't look for you. I wasn't looking for you. It just came out of the sky, as it were. I was minding my own business.
I want to add something to what you just said.
You have the call out, Dr.
No. This is very, very important because it has to do with what he said. What the prince said about the black woman, the African woman, the Biafran woman being free, there's the physical aspect and the spiritual aspect. Biafra, the spirit of Biafra is a woman. And she's free. She is the woman that needs to be free.
Of course.
To be free. So spirit of Biafra is a woman and she has to be free. She's going to bring that freedom to the entire black race. That's what I want to add to what you just said.
Thank you. I see how
Mazen Nandekano have say it. Mazen Nandekano say it. That anytime our woman rises from America, Biafra is here. And even the women do not understand what the Nandekano means. Now it takes a prophet to understand the prophet. Davies Elwomuno have said the same thing. You have been waiting for our women to start talking, and nobody is talking. Because this woman, they make them to be going to church. And they bowing down to the Reverend Father. And they give them Christian religious knowledge. I've been talking to them for a long time, and most of them become my enemy. They don't understand me. because I want them to write. We said Neka.
Yeah,
Neka. And the children belongs to their mother. And nobody understand this. All these things, Chinas and Woru, and all these people in demand and talking, and demand in South Africa are insulting our women. I am asking other men, where are they? And they are not seeing all this thing that is happening. Are they not seeing all this thing? To see Igbo men, somebody insulting our women, and it will become somebody who is answering Igbo name. Like Ikenga, like insulting our women, and our people are just keeping quiet.
Let's take this call, please. We have to take this. He's been waiting, please.
No, Chima, please, it's important. He was saying something about Biafra being born.
It's not about the picking call. It's about dropping this message that we're supposed to be dropping here.
Please. Yeah, I know. We'll come back to his, please. Pardon me, please. Well, I have to incorporate everybody here. They've been listening. They need to talk. They need to make their input, please. As a Monday.
You're welcome.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon. You're welcome to the program, please.
My kings on the panel.
Yeah.
Happy Sabbath to you guys.
No problem.
I just wanna say two things. I admire what the gentleman said about the African woman. It's really it's true. African women are one of the, if not the best, the more beautiful, and they are queens. And I think we should have more respect as men for our women. I also want to say I agree that atonement is absolutely necessary for the restoration of Biafra. I just have two things I just wanted to point out. The gentleman, the guest on your panel, he stated that God was called I am. When God told Moses, I am that I am. And it's absolutely true. I would like to know in the Aramaic or the Hebrew translation, what was he called from the gentleman? What was God called? In the Aramaic or the Hebrew language. According to Revelation 4 and 3, it says that when John was speaking, he said the one that sat upon the throne was like unto a jasper and a sardine stone. And when I look at the jasper and a sardine stone, it looks like me. But our guest said he forgive Jesus for being white. So I'm just a little confused because the jasper and the sardine stone doesn't look anything like a white man. And he also talks about Jesus has woolly hair when John saw him, woolly hair and feet like bronze brass and so forth. I could go on. There are lots of indication of what Jesus looks like. So I was just a little confused as to him being white. And when I'm reading, it tells me of someone of my complexion. And I realized the Igbo's history is parallel to the Bible's history. And I just want to know how. Now, when I listen to the Igbos and their names, all of their names refer them to God or to Elohim or to Chukokike Abiyama. So he mentioned before that Chukokike Abiyama was given by someone else. So all this is just confusing to me. So I just wanted some clarification because when I also listened to this program, The Renaissance, it shows that the Fulanis were used by the British, and the Fulanis are black. They were used by the British to enslave us, to capture us. So I want to know if you can also help me in telling me how I can forgive, those, like the Fulanis, for example, who keeps killing me today. I just want to know how he can help me with that. Thank you.
Yeah, please. You have to hold on for him to answer you. Just hold on. Stephen Mola, he asked you questions.
Thank you for the question. Those are great questions. When I say I had to forgive Jesus for being white, I'm not speaking of the Jesus of Revelation. I'm not speaking of the Jesus in vision. The descriptions we have of Jesus in the Revelation, the descriptions we have of Jesus or the Son of Man in Daniel are prophetic visions. They are not historical facts. When you look at I'm speaking about the historical Jesus. I'm not speaking about the Jesus of Revelation. I'm not speaking about the Jesus that John saw in vision. What John saw in vision. I mean, if I ask you what color are Jesus's eyes, and you're going to give me a description of Jesus's eyes, and you're going to go to the Revelation or to Daniel to give me a description of the color of Jesus' eyes, are you going to tell me flames of fire? That's not a color. That's a symbol.
No, I'll say blue or red.
Let me finish. I'm speaking of the historical Jesus. I'm not speaking about the story or the revelation that John saw in vision. That's a visionary Jesus. It's not a literal or a historical Jesus. It is a Jesus in symbol. The words that come out of his mouth is a sword. Everything is described in symbol because each of those symbols have a meaning. But when I talk about Jesus being white, and I forgive Jesus of being white, I am speaking of the historical Jesus. I'm talking about the Jews that lived in Israel in the first century. I'm talking about the first century Palestinians, the first century Jews, the first century people that live in the Mediterranean. My brother, and all of you people that live in Europe or live in the United States, go to a museum. Go to a museum, or you can go online to a museum. Do your research. Look at the people. Look at the demographics. Look at the history. Look at the economy of the people who lived in Palestine in the first century. Look at Josephus. Look at Philo. These were great Jewish personages. These were great people who lived in the first century, who lived in the time of Jesus. These people were Jews. Look at them. Look what they look like. Palestine, the Levant, the Mediterranean. Let me finish. The Mediterranean basin were Europeanized for 400 years before Jesus was born. Palestine was Europeanized 400 years before Jesus was born. Go to the museum. Go to the museum and go to Africa. Go to the African section in the museum and go look at Egypt in the first century. You're going to be shocked. You know why? Because the sarcophagus and all the images of the first century Egypt, they're white people. The people who lived in Palestine, the majority were Hellenized. Do you know what it means to be Hellenized? Hellenized, it means the same thing as being Greekized, becoming like Greeks. The Hellenization area was in Europe. What I'm saying is that the Levant, Palestine, North Africa, they were Hellenized. They were Europeanized, just like today, North Africa is Arabized. We think that the people of North Africa, when we look at the people of North Africa, we're looking at Arabs. We're not looking at Africans. We're not looking at black people. But the people who lived in Africa before the Romans and before the Greeks were all black people. Blacker than you, blacker than me. They were black. What I'm saying that I had to forgive Jesus for being white was because Jesus was white when you look at him historically. So don't get upset when the missionaries present to you a white Jesus. Forgive the fact that he's white. Get past the race. Get past the race, because there's no such thing as racism. There's only good and evil, right and wrong. All this other stuff is a smokescreen. They got you believing in ism and asm. Tribalism, racism, all these isms, all that stuff is fantasy. It's not real. The only thing is right and wrong, good and evil. Understand that. Once you understand it in its very simplest terms, then you understand what I'm talking about is that we have to get rid of everything that is evil, everything that is wrong. And that's why I talk about getting rid of the evil and the wrongness that is in us, because we all have it. And anger is the source of all evil. Anger is the source of all wrong. Anger is the source of all sin. It was anger that caused the fall of man. It is anger that caused the fall of the evil one in heaven. It was anger. And that's why I talk about anger. People don't understand the dimensions of anger. We don't understand it. If you did, you would abhor it. And so that's what I'm talking about. We have to give up this anger that we have. We have to come into when we come into ourselves, when you understand who you are, you're going to give it up, because you're going to find out that we're all one, and that mankind, God made upright, but man has made so many inventions. That's what we're dealing with now. We're dealing with inventions. Now we talk about the fool of people. There's some good fool of people. I've met them. I have some very good friends. I've been to Kanu. I have spoken at Balesa. I've given lectures in Balesa. I've given lectures in Niger. These people accept me as a fula. They know I'm evil. They know I'm evil. They look at me like I'm crazy. What are you doing among the evils? You need to be among the fula. I said, I love my evil brethren, but I love my fula brethren too. And we can't get along with this kind of anger. I found out that there were full of people who are Pan-African. You know what that means, Pan-African? They recognize the brotherhood of all Africans. You have some full of people that recognize the brotherhood of all Africans. You have some spiritual people who are Fula. You have some spiritual people who are Yoruba. You have spiritual people everywhere. These are the people that we have to align with. And all of these people have the same mind. They understand what has to be done with Africa. They all understand that there has to be a reconciliation between us over here who are in America and our African brothers who are over there. There are people here in Africa, in the United States, they're not evil, They don't have no evil ancestry. They have other ancestry. They have Ashanti. They have Yoruba. They have Ibibio. They have Hausa. I'm talking about African Americans. They trace their ancestry, the DNA to these people. There is an African we have to be Pan-Africans. We here in America, us Africans in America, us Africans who are descended from Africans who are here in America, we are e pluribus unum. We represent all Africa. We don't speak up just for one thing. We speak for our entire people. We speak for the entire African continent. We speak for the entire black man. Man originated in Igbo land, and he spread out all over the world. I told you when I did my DNA, and I found out that in my paternal DNA that I was a Scandinavian. They told me I'm a Scandinavian, and I rejected that. And I couldn't hold my head up no more. I couldn't hold my head up no more because I'm talking all this African stuff. I'm talking all this black stuff, and I'm being told that I'm a European. I'm being told that my ancestry is Scandinavian. I couldn't hold my head up. You know what? Made me hold up? I hold my head up now. You know why? You know why I hold my head up now? Because
you're talking with your family.
I found out that the original Scandinavian was the Igbo. I found that the original inhabitants of every land is the Igbo. The original inhabitants of Scotland, the original inhabitants of Scandinavia were the little people, the pygmies. You know the pygmies spread all over the world? Did you know that? The original man, the Igbo, you'll find their skeletons all over the world. You go to South America, you'll find pygmies in the ground. You go to Scandinavia, you'll find pygmies in the ground. You go to Asia, you find pygmies in the ground. You do the DNA of every human being on this planet, you're going to find that their DNA is from Africa. Even the Chinese admit that. The Chinese are the ones who told us. The Chinese said, "Oh yeah, we have Africa. The original DNA is Africa." So when I found out that the original man had spread all over the world, they had migrated all over the world, and that the original inhabitants of these nations, of these lands, were these little people, we call them the pygmies, the original man, the Igbo, when I learned that, then I could hold my head up again. Because I am the originator and the origin of all things. So I have nothing to be ashamed of. So I had to forgive myself for being white. I got white blood. I had to forgive my ancestors. Not only my African ancestors that sold me into slavery, I had to forgive my white ancestors who made me a slave. I don't have I love white people. I love white people. You know why? Because I love myself. I have to love white people because I love myself. I got white blood. I got the blood of all nations in me. Okay, so
Yeah.
when you understand that the evil is the original man, that's like saying that the evil is God. God don't hate himself. So we cannot be.
Okay, I think you have another question.
Scandinavian blood or European DNA. For me, I do not have European DNA, and I understand why you said you love them. So you have to love yourself, and I understand that. Okay, so do you know of Eri, or do you know of you? For example, the Igbos, they are descendants of whom? Who are the descendants of in the 12th tribe of Israel?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm asking you.
Well, right now I am ambivalent on that subject. But I used to tell you, I used to say this. If you'd asked me this question in 2019 or before, this is what I would have said to you. The evil don't come from nowhere. Nobody made the evil. The evil didn't immigrate from nowhere. The evil are the original man. They are the people of the soil. They didn't come from nowhere. They came from God himself. They didn't come from Israel. They didn't come from Egypt. They didn't come from Ethiopia. They didn't come from West Africa. They didn't come from nowhere. They were always there. They come from the earth. They are the people of the soil. So when people talk about, listen, I thought I was a Jew.
Some Igbos would tell you that they are from the tribe of God, for example, or they're from Ephraim. Just for an example. But the reason why I said it, you're right, because according to Genesis, it says God made man from the ground. And if you look at everywhere, every ground you look at, it's either dark or brown. I've never seen a white ground yet, but maybe I misunderstood that too. So I guess you'd probably help me. But my point that I'm making is, and that's from Genesis, you could say he make man from the dust of the ground. And every dust of the ground is either like me or darker than me. Now, my point that I'm making, that I wanna make. So that's why I'm confused when you say historically Jesus is white. So all this is confusing me. And I know you tried to explain it just now, but I mean, like, again, when I go back from the beginning of what you said, what I just said to you, it confuses me even more. So was Jesus the only white? But when he was born, he born white from a black man? Like, I'm confused. And then the next thing is, the Igbos are from the tribe of God, and I guess any one of the so-called lovely queens or king on the panel would tell you that. Now, if they're from the tribe of God and God was a black man and the children of Israel were black, how can David or how can Yeshua or Jesus be white when he came out from a black 12th tribe of Israel?
You know, I used to be very critical of their position, and the reason why I was very critical.
That's why I need some clarification.
Yes, I understand what you're saying, and believe me, I understand where you're coming from very well. I used to be involved in this discussion when I was in Igbo land, and my brothers didn't like me for the things I had to say. In fact, the things that I said, they didn't like it, and they didn't like it so much that they would threaten me to death. I received death threats from the things I was saying. And they told me that I would don't show my face, because if they did, I would be in trouble because of the things I was saying. Now I am ambivalent, but what I was saying back then was the reason why my Igbo brethren believe that thing that they believe was because they believe the Bible, because all that stuff comes from the Bible. And the Igbos don't come from the Bible. The Igbos were before the Bible, number one. Number two, Gad was the son of a slave woman, and the Igbos were never slaves. So I don't accept this mythology. I mean, you can accept it. I'm not going to say that if you want to be a Jew, you want to believe that you're from Israel, you want to believe that you're from the tribe of Gad. God bless you. I'm not going to get in the way of you and your belief.
I want to
I'm
say
going to tell you
something.
something. I'm going to say to you that the Igbos were never slaves. The Igbos were not born as slaves.
To answer him that question.
They have no origin as slaves. Gad was the son of a slave woman. And if you want to trace your ancestry to a slave woman, be my guest. But if I'm going to be claiming myself to be Igbo, I'm not going to claim to be something that originated from the Bible, because my people originated before the Bible was written.
I want to answer him that question.
Okay.
Yeah,
the first white people who came to Africa was Portuguese.
Yes,
I don't know the date. I don't know the area, the time. But the first Portuguese people, the first white people to come to Africa was Portuguese explorer, and they exploited a lot of things. They come with the ship, and they arrive in every corner where the river, lake, and the stream, river, you know. And they started having children with those women. That is why anywhere you see, all the places you see all these children like us, we are fair in complexion because we have rivers. So most of us, we trace our ancestors from Israel or from Portugal or from Germany or from anywhere. Even the European names have been changed. German names have been changing many years. This time they call Weimar Republic. I don't know who knows that one. That's time here called the Roman Empire, Romanis Reich. I don't know nobody if people knows that. That's the time here called the Kaiser Wilhelms. Kaiser is Caesar. You see, the same Caesar that is Caesar is in Italy or in Rome.
Yeah, that's right.
In German language is Kaiser. You will see it here. Before they come to this Deutschland or Federal Republic of Deutschland or Dutch Democratic Republic, you see how the name changes. So those people born here today in Deutschland will say, I'm a Deutschland. But you don't know what the names here have been called in centuries ago. So those Romans who invaded Ethiopia or who invaded Africa, they have children with African women. And we need to answer our mothers, where did our father come from? Because Africa is your motherland.
Okay.
Where did our father come from?
I'll have to leave you now so other people can call in. Thank you so much for calling. I'm trying to put dots and dots together. And that's just
Africa is the motherland.
At the end of the day,
our mother is already there. But where did our father come from? If your father come from God or from Israel or from Germany or from Roman, maybe your DNA have to say that. Because we, not only our people in America have to take DNA. We that is in Africa have to also to take DNA to find our father, where our father come from.
That's right.
Because our mother, black woman, is in Africa.
The Igbo DNA is 450,000 years old. The Igbo DNA is 450,000 years old.
Yes, old.
How old is Israel? I rest my case.
Okay, we have a caller here. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the program.
Thank you, Prince.
Good evening. Yeah, please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good evening, my brother. Welcome to the program.
Okay, I'm calling from Germany. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome.
I'm very happy of the discussion, and in the way too, I believe it has gone too long in our struggle. The discussion is very interesting, but when we go too far like this, we cut it for not start confusing your audience. Thanks so much. But what I wanted to keep in is that Christ Jesus, whom we're talking about now, according to history, he came from Nazareth. people of Nazareth are not white people. I don't know where the doctor got his analysis. Go and read the Bible very well. Go and read the history of the Jews very well. The Nazareans are not white, they are black in color. And that is why the white, the Israelites, when Jesus was born, they asked the question, can any good thing come out from Nazareth? So the racism he was talking about, Zionism, it has been there on set. So I'm just trying to correct the doctor. Everybody can never know everything at the same time. The question of that any good thing come from Nazareth was not because of Jesus was white, or because that Jesus was poor, or because the family was, because of his color, because of the nature of his color, the tribe he came from, and God is not stupid to make sure that Jesus comes from that same tribe that the people are overlooking. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that we all know, I lived in Greece for many years. We know how the Greek philosophers were to learn their philosophy. We know how the first pyramids were built. But what if anything black man does is being erased out of the history? It's from Nicola that the pyramid started in Anambra State. That is the pyramid started. What histories have been claimed? Our people started it with Moses and Oro. So we know how it now becomes an engineering aspect of greater scientific development of the Western world. When the people of Sudan now took over, they built the one in Egypt. So what I'm trying to say is that the black race, you have a very good point again that the black race has been there before the Bible. Yes. And I respect you so much, our mothers, because you made another comment. There is nothing that exists on this earth without a mother. That is why mother is very, very important. Even God himself, if you understand the creation, God is the mother of the world. God is the mother of the world. He gives birth to us. But through analysis of creation, we understand that he made earth. He used the sun to mold man, to do this, and from the race of the man, a woman came. So that same race of the man, a woman came. This woman is also giving birth to men. So what I'm saying in essence is that Jesus is never white.
Okay, that's your opinion. You've contributed. That's your opinion. So I think I will also leave you for other people to call. Thank you so much.
Can I respond to that, brother?
Yeah.
I want to say to that brother, and I want to say it to all of you. I want to say to all my brothers who are listening, that do not believe anything I say. Do not believe anything that I say. I want you to challenge me, and I want you to do your own research.
Yeah.
And find it out for yourself, because that's what I did. I did my own research. I'm not ideological here. I'm not an ideologue. I'm not an ideologue. Many of you are ideologues. I have no ideologue that I'm trying to push. I'm just a teacher. I don't argue. I don't bicker. You won't never see me do that. I teach only. Now, when I teach, I expect my students to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
And not prove me wrong by an idea or prove me wrong by their something in their head. They're going to have to prove me wrong by the same way that I teach, and that is by research, by evidence. This is what I say. My faith.
You hold on a bit.
My faith is truth. My faith is fact. All right? My faith is fact. And my truth is evidence. You come with me with the facts, and you come with me with the evidence, and then we can have a conversation. But I'm not going to be matching wits and ideas with anybody, because I don't argue. I teach only. I only argue among my peers, the people who have done the same research that I have, because we speak the same language. We speak the language of academics. We speak the language of scholarship. I don't speak this other stuff. So that's why I'm not going to have no argument with you, because I don't expect you to believe me, and I don't want you to believe me. I want you to prove me wrong, because that's what I did. I didn't believe Catherine Achulono. I proved her wrong. At least I tried to. And I found out that I could not prove her wrong. I want you to do the same thing to me. Prove me wrong. Show me the evidence. Show me the facts. Then we can have a conversation. But don't come to me with all this religion and all this ideologue and all these ideas, because that's for you guys. I'll leave that for you guys. That's for children. You children go and play, but I don't play that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We have another caller. I believe I'll be rounding up with this caller.
Let them call. I'm happy. In short, I'm happy for this program. Let them call.
We're going to have Chief Eromo again, and by the time we're going to have him, people will prepare their questions. After they must have gone for research.
Yes.
So he asked you to go and research and come
back.
Yeah, we have another caller here. Good evening. You're welcome to the program.
Nice program. I love this program.
Yeah.
First of all, I just want to thank everyone for your contribution for this wonderful education.
Thank you so much.
Out to our people. I am a follower of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He has taught us a little bit about. He has taught us quite a number of times our history, the history of the Igbos. But he has not revealed everything about the Igbos, because he said the day he revealed the history about the Igbos,
yes,
there will be a mass slaughter.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes, he said it.
He said it. What happened? Your volume is slow. I think it's from you. No. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
It's not from me.
Maybe you call back.
Yeah, yes, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Go down again.
Yeah, it's gone down again. Yeah, I hope it doesn't go off. No. Your line is breaking. I don't know why. It's breaking. Maybe now it's loud. I don't know. Maybe if he calls back, we take the last call. I would like to allow Chief Eromo to go and rest. He's been talking. He's been teaching. He's not going to teach everything. I know you don't want to go. I too. I don't want to close.
Share this video. I want this video to go to every platform.
It's gonna go. It's
gonna go to every platform. Yes.
It is. People will share it.
They are sharing it. They are really sharing it. Yeah, they are sharing it. I think we will have to be rounding up now. So I don't know if Chief will come back again. People really need you to come back again, because you just gave us a brief, a breakdown. You've not really gone into deep. I know that a lot of things are in your mouth to say. So I don't know whether you will have opportunity of having you again, because for me, I'm super excited. I've learned a lot of things, and I'm trying to put the dots together. And by the time I'm done, I'm going to come out with something for me personally. Dr. Nelly.
His books, I'm going to be giving you a picture of his book. You can display it on your,
he has his books there.
Yes,
Wow.
I
would like to get them. Yeah.
It's really in depth. I've not been able to finish everything, but I scan through things. I get information. He was always also talking about X and Y at Chalon. Like I told him, there was keywords that I was looking for. Even though she touched it a little bit, but his book, Princess Lomona's book, we have our own bias and we have our own where we're coming from. I aligned a lot with that. So I think when they read his books, they'll be able to have a broader perspective. So that's we're just gonna update, put it on your page. Yeah.
Yeah. Ezemo, you said something I'm trying to put together. You are talking about the woman that the first woman, that's the mother of the ex. Or I know you said something the other day that 3 men he had 3 husbands.
Three wise men come from the east, according to the book, but they met those women. That's the book. The Bible said that Mary conceived without a man. He's talking about that mother, Mama Africa, who Nechuku, Nemiri. Yes. Igbo people will need to start learning their history, because for too long they have made me to look ugly like this. They reading Bible. 2012, when I started doing all this,
they have something
they've been fighting me. Yeah?
No, they are talking to Dr. Nelly. He said, IPOB men, they have something to gossip tomorrow. Sorry.
I want to tell the IPOB, all the indigenous people of Biafra, please do not join those people that is insulting our mother. You cannot say that you want Biafra with your mouth and you're going again and insulting the Biafra. The Biafra is a motherland, and that land is a mother. So please stop insulting all these women. They are the representative of the Biafra that we are looking for. They are the representative of those who make us. So I want all these people that is fighting our women to stop it, or you will get what you don't like. Please, if you are in Turkey, stop insulting our women. If you are in Asia country, stop insulting our women. Anywhere you are, stop insulting our women, because their children will rise up against you. Please, even Mazen Nandekano that everybody is talking about Nandekano. Nandekano uses his mouth and say it. That anytime this woman will rise, you don't know. The Mazen, let me say it from now on. Mazen Nandekano said that, and Mazen Nandekano respect the women. Then why is it that the followers of Mazen Nandekano, those who destroy Mazen Nandekano's struggle, are putting Mazen Nandekano's name in the front and going destroying everything that Nandekano have labored for, everything that we have labored for? That is eye service, character assassination. You cannot say that you follow Nandekano, but Nandekano respected these women and he said something about them. Great Nandekano, he used to see vision, he used to see future, he used to see far. He saw this thing. Many people, even Eluomuno, know this. Many people knows this. Only this China Samuel don't know that. If Anyuba or somebody Oba in a Turkey, Chuku, I don't know what is his name from India.
I don't want to grace them.
Yeah.
And this man in Biafran child watching in Germany.
Please,
all these people that is insulting our women, I don't know if you fall from heaven or if not a woman born you. Did you born by operation? Did please, if we, this is the orientation I'm giving all of you. In general, we have to be humble to our mothers. And when our mothers speak, we we have to make it to be action. This is why the Europeans are controlling you. When the woman speaks here in Europe, the men will go to war. The woman controls here. Yes, when the woman speaks here, the men go to war. Look at what the Chidasagori is doing. You're fighting with your mother. Come make I give you. What did I go give you? Come make I give you 10, 50 euro. Because you are fighting with our mother, Chidasagori. You can't go. You're fighting with our mothers. And make I take it 5 from you. You can't go for fighting our women. Eh? Well, I can't blame all of you. Things fall apart in our place. And we born after things fall apart at the Biafran Civil War, abandoned property, and a lot of things happened to us. So we don't it all. Let me say that the act of ignorance that you people are acting. But I think after today's program, people will start learning a lesson.
Yeah, I believe so. Thank you so much. And let me come to Chief.
He was saying something. Can we hear what he has to say, please?
Who?
Prince Eluemuna was saying something about he was getting started to say something.
I think, okay, let him just say it and also tell our viewers the last one.
I want to say something. I want to say something, but I don't know whether I should say it because I don't have the time to back it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Just let me say this. I say that anyone that has a problem with women need to forgive their mother. Anybody who has a problem with women needs to forgive their mothers. Even me, had to forgive my mother.
That's interesting.
Sidney Davis, had to forgive his mother. When I forgave my mother, I entered into a new awareness. Just by that simple act, I actually went to my mother and I said, "Mother, I forgive you for the anger that I had that you gave me because you kept me away from my father. And I was angry and I didn't realize it. But I forgive you." Now, I'm not expecting my mother to reciprocate. And when I forgive someone, I don't expect them to reciprocate because I'm not forgiving them for them. I am forgiving them for me. Forgiveness doesn't change the other person. Forgiveness changes you. That's why I say that we have to come into an area where we learn how to forgive, because when you do that, you will change, not the other person, you. And we have to change. You have to come into the awareness of who you are. You have to come into the awareness of your being. You have to come into the awareness of what God is. God is in you. God is with you. God is as you. That is I am. And if you have a problem with women, you have a problem with God. It's as simple as that. So examine yourself. Examine your hearts. Examine your mind. Examine your relationships. And get rid of the anger. Because if you're angry with Biafra as your motherland, you have a problem with your mother. And Lord have mercy on you when you have a problem with your mother. That's all I can say about that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Is that the last word for our viewers before we just?
That's my last word. Thank you.
Okay.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being invited here. It is. I didn't expect this, but I want to praise. I want to praise my my brothers and my sisters, and I want to commend and encourage you, my women, my Igbo women, my beautiful Igbo women, my queens, my Ezi wines. This thing ain't gonna change until the women take over. When there's more women leading than there are men, then you're going to see something, because the women are the one that are going to do it. I'm not going to do it. My brother traditional ain't going to do it. It's the women are going to do it.
Yes.
I've been saying this for years, and I'm beginning to see it now. I can hardly believe it. I'm almost beside myself. So I'm seeing the beginning. And you women need to speak up. You need to proliferate. You need to have women children or something. You need to have more of you.
Yes.
So I give you my blessing, and I give you the blessing of Almighty God.
He said,
and I give you my love.
he said,
You're
thank you
blessed.
so much. It's
You're
been a
blessed,
wonderful
everyone.
day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming, and I believe we'll have you once again. A lot of people are so excited, super excited. They really want to have you. I know that you gave us a brief of the rough sketch. Next time, we're going to ask you a question from, if you will honor the invitation again, we're going to ask you a question based on what you've heard from you today. I believe we have a lot of questions to ask. I think it's going to be
your atonement.
yes. The atonement, yes. Maybe the next time you come, we'll talk more about the atonement and the.
I think the best way, because I see people who want to get in touch with me, I say if you let them know about the platform and WhatsApp, that if we can get people to get on that platform, then they can engage me.
Okay.
They can engage me that way.
Okay, that WhatsApp platform. Okay, so if you really want to get in touch with him, get in touch with me. You know how to get in touch with me, then I'll connect you. Yeah, okay. I'll connect you. That's so great. And Dr. Nelly, I believe we're having another guest on Saturday. We're having Queen, our Queen from Suriname. I think she will join. Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Hopefully we can have maybe one time with Nwokedi, probably in the subsequent weeks to come.
Yeah.
Great to have both of them on the same day too.
Wow. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice.
It's gonna be nice.
We're actually going home. We are going home.
Biafra is here.
Things are really to fall in place. Just
and
like
our
that.
mothers will be in the front. Then we have to be everywhere. Oh.
No problem. No problem.
I'm very much happy. I'm very much happy because what we lose in our place is Nnechuku, the mother goddess, and then they bring a warrant chief mentality, and they said Alochuku Okibo, the male side, or happy Nachioke, the male side. Yeah. If you see it,
thank you so much.
Our motherland is Benne. We call it all the villages in our place is Nene. Until the British come and dethrone our mother, and then bring a father, warranty chief, go warrant.
That's right.
And that is when they started having this male mentality.
That's right.
And they're fighting our mothers.
That's right.
Yes.
It's a topic.
What I will tell our mothers is, before then we are young, but now we are man. We can battle with your enemies. Mama, don't worry. Everything that happened in the past, let's call it in the past. But we are living presently now. We gotta do that, Mama. It's man to man.
Thank you so much. And at the same time, I want to appreciate our viewers that watch us from YouTube. We have a lot of people watching us from YouTube. We appreciate you also. If you have not subscribed, subscribe to the YouTube, because
wow, I'm so happy this night. Hello, Muno. I thank you very much. Hello, Muno. My brother.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. And it's a bit sad to say bye-bye. And we just have to say bye-bye.
I greet you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Nelly. I bow down and I honor you people. We used to honor our mothers. We used to honor them. You know? Yes.
Yeah.
We honor our mothers. And that is what we wanted to restore back. To bring honor and dignity to our mother.
It's coming back already.
Yes. You have something to say. Are you coming up later today again? Because I'm already in my next day.
Tomorrow, Sunday.
Yes.
And then I wish to remind Biafra people there should be no election. There's no election in Biafra land, and sit at home continues. If we have to increase the number of sit at home from Monday to Tuesday or Friday, whatever we have to do it. and there shall be no election in Biafran land. Thank you all. Thank you, Prince Eluemono. Thank you, Prince Nwokedi. Thank you, Ezewani Ben. Thank you, Biafran. I love you.
People. We love you so much, and I will also give you.
We are in Biafran.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. So bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Let me start packing my coat. Tomorrow morning, I'm leaving Berlin. I leave Berlin to go back to my village, my city.
Okay.